Microphones in the business. Folks, Jeanty trip. One-on-one coverage.
Nice job by Magic.
You got the love check.
Two. Jeanty's got.
Remember, letting off some steam.
Jeanty breaks through.
Here's Jeanty, patient running, breaks the tackle, picks up the first down.
And there he goes. I'd say he got it back, didn't you?
Jeanty, another huge hole, this time off the right side. He cuts it back. Jeanty eluding tackler. Gets the block. He's
3 and 7. He's at loose ball opportunities and can't get it done. And here goes Jeanty. Doing what Jeanty
in all these plays for Boise State.
Jeanty has a seam, and Jeanty to the 20. Jeanty to the 10. Jeanty to the
Touchdowns that he has on the season.
Jeanty picking him up and down.
Pass protection.
Jeanty breaking a tackle with that stiff fall. Takes a little stutter step, picks up a first down, puts it back inside. Jeanty trying to turn on the gas, spinning.
Ashton Jeanty still on his feet, and he's down.
30-yard line. Boise is going to set up shop.
Give to Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty breaks free. Jeanty, goal.
You now. On Allen. Jeanty into the clear blue. Touchdown. Best microphones in the business. Folks, Jeanty trip.
One-on-one coverage. Nice job by Magic.
You got the love check.
Two. Jeanty's got.
Remember, letting off some steam.
Jeanty breaks through.
Here's Jeanty, patient running, breaks the tackle, picks up the first down.
And there he goes. I'd say he got it back, didn't you?
Jeanty off the eluding tacklers. Gets the block. He's got
3 and 7 when they have that many opportunities at loose ball opportunities and can't get it done. And here goes Jeanty. Doing what Jeanty
In all these plays for Boise State.
Jeanty has a seam, and Jeanty to the 20. Jeanty to the 10. Jeanty to the
Touchdowns that he has on the season. Great pass protection.
Jeanty breaking a tackle with that stiff fall. Takes a little stutter step, picks up a first down, cuts it back inside. Ashton Jeanty trying to turn on the gas. And keep the ground with Jeanty on 2nd and 10. Look at him bounce off tacklers. Jeanty with some room. Jeanty has the speed. You call it long speed.
Look, Jeanty still on his feet, and he's down.
30-yard line. Boise is going to set up shop.
Give to Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty breaks free. Jeanty, goal.
You now. An unreal talent. And there he goes. Jeanty into the clear blue. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Runs in the business. Folks, Jeanty trip.
One-on-one coverage. Nice job by Magic.
You got the love check.
Two. Jeanty's got.
Remember, letting off some
What's up? What's up? What's up, sports world? Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it is. It's another Monday night. Beautiful Monday right here in the city of Buffalo, New York. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in right now. Y'all know this is where, listen, you got the Monday Night Madness,
Eminem,
Alphabets Football Talk Show mashup again. Yay, right?
yeah.
You know this is where Alphas and Madness meet. Obviously, got my guy Marcus the Alphabets on here on the ones and twos today. As usual, you know we about to put on a phenomenal show for you. Marcus, what's good with you?
We got through the draft, man. All the preparation, doing all the mock drafts. Shout out to Bo Boyu and Jordan Paul Pierre for they won the mock draft pick. They got 8 right in the first round, man. Without trades, man. And Bo got 9 right, really. But I mean, to be able to do that with all the moving and shaking, and we knew it would be some we knew it would be some moving and shaking in there, you know. So it's pretty cool, you know. We're done with that now. You know, we move on to OTAs and you know rookie camp and then in like 3 months, man. 3 months. We're about to be May, June, July. 3 months we got preseason, man. Training camp.
Marcus the Alphabet. Let me start off the show by saying, here we go. Already, y'all. Already. We at the introduction. And Marcus the Alphabet already. You do this once a show. You think you so slick. You gonna pull in. We know it's gonna be some moves and shakes around here. Sir.
Yeah.
That was more than just moves and shakes. That was earthquake, seismic proportion, epic proportion is going on with that draft. My question to you is, why did so many people get the draft wrong? Why did all the experts, they got it wrong?
Because the thing about it is they really don't know. And look, it's a lot of secrets and stuff. People they making you think they like this guy, but they don't really like this guy. You know, we had, the whole Shedeur Sanders situation, and after the first like 3 or 4 picks, everything just went crazy. We all pretty much knew. I think everybody pretty much knew Cam Ward was going number 1. We knew, Travis and Abdul would probably go there. We knew Ashton Jeanty would go pretty early. But after that, it was like madness. We talk about Monday Night Madness. We had Thursday Night Madness and Friday Night Madness and Saturday afternoon madness. Speaking of that, while we're on it, first off, I want to say thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday yesterday. I appreciate that. Everybody who came out and showed some love yesterday. And also, while we're here and while we're talking about the draft a little bit, so we don't forget, this time next year, we're trying to organize something where we have a meet and greet next year in Pittsburgh. Alphabets Football Show, Rise Up Family, and all these people like meeting up. I've talked to a lot of people. I started a chat group. Shout out to Melissa Markovich. She kind of organized it. We're trying to put this together where people meet up. We talk about Rise Up Family. We talk about community. We talk about, it's about people and relationships and stuff like that. So hopefully this time next year, we'll have met up, in person. A lot of people, seem interested with it. So we'll see what happens. But back to the draft, it just, you don't know what, we at the beginning of the draft, pick 2, it wasn't even that many picks until we started having some changes up in there, right? Second pick, Jacksonville moves from 5 to 2. Jacksonville moved from 5 to 2 in the second pick. It wasn't pick 5 to pick 10. At pick 2, we had a trade there, and a lot of people are upset about it. We'll talk a little bit about it with the Travis Hunter, And a lot of people were upset with Cleveland. Well, why don't you just take Travis Hunter? I thought that they got a nice little package, man. You move back 3 spots, and you get their second, and you get a 1 next year too. You get their number 1 next year too. So I mean, it's like really nice. It's really nice what they got, you know, and they still got a lot of really good players, you know. So they're gonna have a quarterback battle over there, and we're gonna figure it all out, you know. Cream rise to the top.
So I see what you just did there. Again, I want to let everybody know right now, before we let William off the Richter scale, Richter on the show, that Marcus the Alphabets is acting up today. He is already 2 for 2 now. In 13 minutes, Marcus the Alphabets is 2 for 2. Y'all. Marcus, we're going to talk about the draft and skip the most obvious point of the entire draft. How you skip? Go ahead and show them the pictures. Go ahead and pull them pictures up. You got it. Pull them pictures up.
Where are we gonna?
You know where we going with this? Yeah, you thought you was real smooth. He real smooth. Travis Hunter with the number 2. Sure did. Yeah, he did. Went to Jacksonville. Then you had was it Mason Graham, Will Graham, Mr. T-Rex Hines?
Yeah. Well, Travis went at 2. Travis went at 2, and he went to number 2. Abdul Carter at 3 to the Giants. I mean, we kind of knew what it was going to be. It was just okay. What order are they going? Now it's not one to show. How you doing, Desiree?
Dwayne said, "Why am I messing with you, Marcus?" He know why. Dwayne, he know why I'm messing with him, because he thought he was slick. Gonna bring up the draft was so smooth, and not one time did I hear Shedeur Sanders come out of his mouth, or he didn't mention it. So I knew that was a prelude to what we about to do, which is we about to show you.
Okay, now I don't want to
go ahead on your side. I stopped sharing my screen, sir.
Go ahead and share your screen. It's not letting me share. Oh, okay.
It's not letting you do nothing. It's not letting you.
No, it's not letting me. No.
Crazy. You just
hang on.
About 5
hang on. I'll go back. Hang on a second. 1 minute.
So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull it up for you. I'll pull it up for him. I'm here for you.
Pull it up.
I'm here.
You got it? Okay.
No, I already got it now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on here. William Richter, what's up, my guy? I want to shout out William Richter right now on the show right now. What's good, William?
Not much. Just grinding, trying to get through the day, trying to get some schoolwork done, trying to get some business handled on the other side, trying to get this paper, this little piece of degree.
There you go.
Yep. I want the money. Yep.
We got it.
Johnny Manziel, let's go.
Well, I hope you got a degree today in draftonomics. I hope you got some paper in draftonomics today, because the big story out of the draft is this guy right here, Shedeur Sanders, going in the 5th round to Cleveland. He didn't get picked up on day 1. He didn't get picked up on day 2. He damn near almost didn't get picked up day 4, day 3. Real close. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are about this whole Shedeur thing, him getting picked up in the 5th round. I'm gonna start with William, Marcus, and then I'll interject at the end. But go ahead, William. What's your thoughts?
I think we have to look at a bevy of factors, and I think we have to understand that you had 32 teams pass on you for 4 rounds, tell you no 4 times, and another 17 told you no again for a 5th time. Something is not right. Yes, you are a player. Yes, you are a good player. But there is something that is not right with whether it's you, your character, the intention, the attitude, the whatever it might be. I don't know. There are reports out there that he didn't interview well. There are reports out there that his father was meddling enough that they didn't want him as part of the process. We have to decide what that is. Good for Shedeur. Glad he got drafted. Glad he's there. He's fighting. He's not going to have an easy run up in Cleveland. It's not going to be just, well, here's the job. Go ahead and go do what you want to do. It's not going to be that way. It's just not. What's going to happen is he's going to get stuffed in a three-way competition where we already know Joe Flacco's probably the starter. Now they're battling for reps with Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. All three of them will be fighting for reps. And at one point, somebody's going to get knocked off the pillar, whether it's Kenny Pickett, Gabriel, or Shedeur. I don't know. I don't have my crystal ball out tonight. It's just not one of those things. So I think with Deshaun Watson sitting there on injury, you can't get rid of him yet. You can just IR him. It opens up a roster spot. That's great, but it doesn't do anything else to get him off the books, and you can't get rid of him fast enough. So congrats to Shedeur. Finally, the news was over. I was grateful when they called his name so we didn't have to keep hearing it for the rest of the draft, at least for that portion of time. Like, I understand, yes, he's a big name. Yes, he's done things. But when you have just barely better than a 500 record, you shouldn't get your name retired. You shouldn't get your jersey number retired. Like, there are teams and players that were way better ahead of you, especially on teams in Colorado that Marcus and I discussed earlier in the day. Much more deserving of a retirement ceremony than him. But again, this comes with the name. You can't show up to your draft room. How many other draft players have we ever seen in history show up with a room dedicated to being legendary? Like, again, this is what turns off teams see this stuff and they go, that's too much headache. I don't want to deal with it. I'm good. So, like, that's where my thoughts are. Marcus?
Look, Cleveland, whether people believe it or not, I think Cleveland actually played this out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, since they've come back into the league, I think they came back into the league in 99. First draft pick was Tim Couch. Okay? Tim Couch. Ever since they came back into the league, they have not been able to draft quarterbacks. Tim Couch, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Brady Quinn, Brandon Whedon. They can't. And then finally they say, okay, we're just going to give up a bunch of resources and we're going to go get a guy who we think is generational, Deshaun Watson, even though he's got 24 sexual assault allegations. That didn't work out. Then he gets hurt. So you're back at square one. You're having to draft a quarterback. So now what they did, and I like it, throw a whole bunch of resources at it, lower round picks. The thing with this is, and I was talking about it this morning on Coffee Talk. Now Shedeur's got to go the long way, and that might be good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I want my quarterback to experience a little bit of adversity and be battle hardened. You know, there's guys that have gone the long way. Josh Allen went the long way. He went to Wyoming. You know, Tom Brady wasn't highly recruited. He was from California. He went to play at Michigan.
Six quarterbacks ahead of him at Michigan.
Drew Henson. You know, Henson was it? Henson, he was like Mr. Michigan football.
Yep.
You know, Joe Burrow. People as great as Joe Burrow is. Joe Burrow's the number one pick. He had to go the long way. They got rid of him at Ohio State. Justin Fields, they got rid of him in Georgia. So it's not the first time we've seen a quarterback just have to, but for him, this has got to be a new sensation for him. Probably his dad's been his coach his entire life. Pee Wee League that his dad started, high school, Jackson State. He goes down there, he gets the job. As soon as he gets to Colorado, when Deion does the first talks to the players, hey, our quarterback's on the way. Whoever's here is a quarterback. You ain't going to be the quarterback. There ain't no competition or nothing. I believe competition makes us better, okay? So now He goes to Cleveland. You're a 5th round pick. And just like other 5th round picks, you're not safe. Your roster spot is not guaranteed. And you've got guys in there who have some skins in the wall. Let us not forget, Joe Burrow's a 1st round pick. And he's a Super Bowl champion. Okay? Joe Burrow, I know that's really hard for people to understand. Flacco. Joe Flacco, he's a Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson's a Heisman Trophy winner. I think he's gone. I think that
Kenny Pickett's got a ring, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, he won a ring with Philly, and he's a 1st round pick. Deshaun Watson's a 1st round pick. Joe Flacco's a 1st round pick. Kenny Pickett's a 1st round pick. Deshaun Watson's a 1st round pick. So you're going there with all and then Dillon Gabriel got drafted before you. So now you've got to go the long way. And maybe, now it's just there's not going to be any entourages. Daddy can't save you. You got to go in there with your head in the playbook, learn the playbook, and whatever reps that you get, whatever scraps that you get, because you're a 5th round pick. 5th round picks don't usually get a lot of snaps reps at practice. You're probably running the scout team. So you're going to have to go in there with you're going to have to check your ego at the door. You're a 5th round pick, and you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to compete. You're going to have to, and that might be good for him, because I don't believe, and I'm not there, I'm not privy to these meetings. I don't think he's ever had to fight for his position on a team.
No, I don't think so. We were talking about that earlier. We think he got the whole way.
Look, when you get to a school, I'm going to tell you, I tell this story all the time. I've won 2 state championships in high school. I do a recruiting trip. I go to Texas Tech. I wanted to go to Texas Tech. Texas Tech is 88 miles from Clovis, New Mexico, where I went to school. By the way, shout out to a young man, Bryce. I can't think of his name. Got drafted. Congratulations to him, the Seahawks from Clovis High School. But I go to a recruiting trip to Texas Tech, and I asked him as a freshman, hey, Coach Spike Dykes, hey, would I be able to play? And he looked me right in the face. Not a chance, young man. We have a running back over here, an All-American running back in the Big 8, or the SWC back then, the Southwestern Conference, the Big 8. Byron Bam Morris. Everybody remember him? Played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when I got there off the bus, he was like, there's not a chance. You're not going to play over this guy. You're a freshman from little ass Clovis. You're not coming in here and taking over from him. I thought I was pretty good. And that was shocking for me. So he's probably never had that type of rejection. And rejection's good sometimes. The girl that you want to date, hey, you're not dating Halle Berry, Marcus. Sit your ass down. You're not. You might want to date her. She ain't dating you. So I think it's a good situation for him. I don't like some of the shenanigans that went on the side. The prank with the punk ass coach from Atlanta.
And I got more on that one. I got more on that info too for later.
And I'm reading this. Why wouldn't you have confidence in yourself? I get it. There is a very slim difference between confidence and cockiness. And I was talking about that earlier today. That you have accomplished nothing to have that type of attitude. You're not a Heisman Trophy winner. You're not a national champion. I don't even know. Did he ever win a bowl game? Like a major bowl game? 13-12. You were 4-8 this past year. Not all your fault. I talked about that. It's not all your fault. Football's the ultimate team sport. But the way that you carry yourself, I need to be catered to. I'm the man. You're not the man. You're not the man. And I think that was the NFL's way of kind of smacking him down a little bit and smacking him into reality. And I hope he uses that as motivation going forward, because I think he's better than Dillon Gabriel. I believe he's better than Dillon Gabriel. I believe he's better than Kenny Pickett. I believe he's better than Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's on a 1-year deal. Kenny Pickett's on a 1-year deal. They're only going to keep 3 of those quarterbacks. They got 5 or 6 quarterbacks now. They're going to keep 3 of them. I believe if you put some things around him, when you look at the other draft picks that they got, picking up a Quinshon Judkins, they're going to have a power run game similar to like Nick Chubb in his prime. They have Dylan Sampson, the other running back, Jerry Jeudy, and Njoku. They got some pieces over there, and I think this will be the best team he's ever played with. But he's got to go in there. Nothing's going to be given to him. There's nothing that's guaranteed to him. So we'll see. We're going to find out a lot about Shedeur Sanders in the next few months. We're going to find out a lot about him. No bowl wins. 13-12, 4-8 this past year.
And yet Gabriel has 4 playoff wins in 2 seasons.
Again, and we talked about this. Who you play with matters.
Yep.
So
more NFL ready.
Hang on. I always have to put this. You keep saying I always have to put this to you in Buffalo Bills terms. If I put Josh Allen on the Philadelphia Eagles, do you think that physically, do you believe that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts?
Of course.
Okay, so why are you saying you keep bringing up? Oh, he won all of these games and blah 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 blah. Who we play? Dylan Gabriel played with how many? We got. I got the thing up here. I think Oregon had like 11 draft picks.
10. We had 10.
Okay.
10 of
how
15.
many came from Colorado? 3 or 4. Travis, Joe Horn, and I asked you, who's the starting running back? Who's the starting running back for Colorado? Colorado didn't. He didn't play with elite talent, and you're going against, the other teams, the Oklahomas and the Oregons and the teams like that. Again, I believe Travis Hunt. I believe that Shedeur Sanders is a better. He's taller. He's got better anticipation. He's a bigger, better athlete. He just is. You just happen to play on a team that was loaded, that made you look better. That's like saying, oh, look at what Ken Dorsey did at Miami. Look at all these games that Ken Dorsey won at Miami. Yes, it helps when you got 6 guys that get drafted in the first round. Shedeur Sanders, I'll say it slowly. Shedeur Sanders is better than Dylan Gabriel. He's just better. He's just better. And you can put all of the stats, stats are great, but you have to also look at the situation. Who's better? Who's on a better team? I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Who do I say is a better running back, Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith?
Barry.
Why?
Because of who he played with and what he did with that. So, and I understand that.
That's what I'm saying. So,
but I'm also of the understanding from the school of thought that better competition leads to better process. Why do you think we had 120 something draftees between the Big Ten and the SEC? Not just Oregon, but I'm saying where are the schools that are feeding all these players at?
Okay.
So I'm just saying,
before we
upper level of competition.
Okay.
Before we slide too far, I'm sorry. Once in a while, I gotta interrupt and interject. And what y'all saying is great and fine and dandy, but I gotta do this. I'm sorry. I have to. I didn't want to take it this far, but I'm going to. I'm gonna put the camera right on me. And then I'm gonna take it off, just so you know who this is coming from. Number one. Your perspectives, both of your perspectives is fine and dandy, but I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, I don't agree with neither one of y'all.
Okay.
Number one, on everything. But
hang on. Before you, I want to ask you one question before you start. I want to ask you one question before you start. Do you believe Shedeur Sanders is better than Shuck? Do you believe he's better than Shuck? Do you believe he's better than
Cam Ward, Milroe?
Is he better than
Shuck? I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that right now. Number one, first and foremost, 143 players went before Shedeur Sanders. 5 quarterbacks went before Shedeur Sanders. There is no way and I'm keeping it real. There is no way that any smart individual, let alone any buffoon individual, believes that Shedeur Sanders deserved a fifth round grade. Absolutely not. That's number one. Number two, last I checked, Shedeur Sanders is not the first person I've seen come in with that attitude and cocky. Last I checked, Eli Manning got away with the same thing. Josh Rosen had the same attitude. Johnny Manziel had the same attitude. And even worse, those guys got in trouble with the law. Shedeur has never gotten in trouble at all.
But where are those guys now?
No, don't cut me off, because I'll let y'all go, and I ain't say nothing. Don't cut me off. No trouble with the law whatsoever. This guy literally played at Jackson State. I think a lot of people fail to realize Jackson State was an FCS school. When people throw out the records, oh, well, he barely had a 500 record. Sir, he started at an FCS school. They brought an FCS roster to the big dance and literally won the first 4 out of 5 games. You say he didn't accomplish anything? That's an accomplishment in itself. I think we fail to forget that we see all these celebrities. So all these celebrities and all these sports people done did this, that, and the third. Would you say that Russell Westbrook has never did nothing? Because he hasn't won a championship. Would you say Allen Iverson has never done anything? Because he hasn't won a championship. Would you say Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, and yes, I'm naming basketball players, have never done nothing because they haven't won a championship?
We're talking about, okay, I got to stop you there. We got to talk about a collegiate level. We're talking about a collegiate level.
Okay,
that's
so you hold on, Marcus. But you added football, you added professional sports to your argument.
Okay.
So let me cook.
Okay.
Johnny Manziel didn't win a damn thing in college. Josh Rosen didn't win a damn thing in college. Let's start there. Okay. So if you want to keep it at the collegiate level, neither one of them won a damn thing and had worse attitude than Shedeur. We talking about interviews. Josh Rosen was the guy who said 9 teams made a mistake and not picking him at number 1 and ended up being a damn bust. Garbage, trash, boo-boo shit. Hello. Johnny Manziel, the hype of the century, ended up being one of the biggest busts of all time. You're telling me because a black man, and yes, I'm bringing it there. I'm bringing it here. A black man who I don't give a damn if his son is Deion Sanders or not. First of all, Deion Sanders is the greatest corner of all time. So for the NFL to be disrespectful to a man who gave blood, sweat, and tears to become the greatest cornerback of all time is absolute buffoonery to me. Do you know how much money the NFL made off of Deion Sanders? Plenty of money off of Deion Sanders. Yet somehow his son, because of his confidence, is wrong to have confidence. Why is that? Why? What was wrong with his confidence exactly? Saying that, getting me will help a culture out when it comes to a football team. What was wrong with him having confidence? What's wrong with him saying that? What's wrong with him being strong in his beliefs and believing in going out there? Do you know how hard it is to, Marcus, you should know this. You know how hard it is to go out and play football. You've played a sport in the collegiate level. I've played basketball. I played basketball high school and college. I know how difficult it is to play. Understand it. Well, I never asked you that question. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But do you know how hard it is to stay mentally focused while you trying to do this, that, and the third to get to somewhere? All the people that it takes, the army and slew of people it takes to get the support to be able to reach any type of level in this day and age. Yet it's a problem because he is confident This is straight what we call buffoonery. The NFL trying to smack him down because he's a strong, black-willed individual is absolute buffoonery, especially when the league is 75% black. Buffoonish at best. On top of the fact that guess what? You guys are saying he's got the he's got the harder road. I don't see it that way. I see it as he's cooling and cruising because he's a 5th round pick. Guess what has to happen now? 5 quarterbacks have to prove that they were better than Shedeur. And that's what I'm looking at.
I agree with you. I agree with you with that. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on these teams that drafted Shuck and Dart and Milroe. They're all and Ward. All of these guys. There's a lot of pressure on them because now you got to go and you got to go prove it. You know. And with the first interception that they're going to be like, you drafted this guy over Shedeur. But we also look. I believe I believe 2 things can be true at the same time. I do think that the NFL tried to railroad him, but we also have to look at. Come on, we gotta keep an open mind here. How many teams needed a quarterback in the first round? We got to look at that there too.
5.
We got to look.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa, wait a minute now. Before you even pull that argument, Marcus the Alphabet.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you right here. I'm gonna ask you right here on this show, publicly. How many quarterbacks in this draft was better than Shedeur Sanders from your eye test? Don't talk about nobody else's. Yours. How many?
Maybe.
I dare you. You already said Dylan Gabriel wasn't better than him. You know Jalen Milroe wasn't better than him. So who? Jackson Dart? I know you didn't say Jackson Dart was better than him.
I like Milroe's physical tools better. I tell y'all all the time when you're drafting
overall, we know that we already know you're physical.
True. I think Cam Ward is a better athlete. I think he's a better athlete, and I would say probably Jalen Milroe, although I don't believe that Milroe is a better thrower of the ball than Shedeur is. But the other quarterback, I believe he's better than Shuck. I believe he's better than Dylan Gabriel. I think he's better than a lot of those guys. Now, you have to also look at what teams needed a quarterback in the first round. What teams needed it? Okay, the number 1 pick was Cam Ward, right? I thought that the Giants decided to go with Dart. That's who they wanted. Look, you like what you like. You like what you like. There's also so hang on.
We hiding it behind. We like who we like now. Hold on, Marcus. We hiding it behind. We like who we like now.
Hang on. I'm gonna explain this. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. What coach? Where do we think that Brian Daboll is as far as his job security? Because what did Deion say was his ultimate goal as far as with coaching? What did he say his ultimate goal was? Do you remember?
He wanted stability in the franchise.
He wanted to coach his son. He said the only way that I would come up is to coach his son. So now you got to look at the teams that with the coaches. If you're Brian Daboll, are you securing your job? The head coach of the Giants. We said that they needed a quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Daboll, if the Giants start off 0-5, 0-6, Brian Daboll could very well be fired. Kellen Moore just got his job with the Saints. He ain't secure over there.
He's got a 1-year leash, and that's what he's got.
Hold on,
he's got 1 year to figure that out.
Hold on, though. Marcus, I'm glad you alluded to that. Because here's what I'm going to say. Y'all had so much hate. Y'all pretend and claim to have so much hate for Deion Sanders, yet you was considering this man for an NFL coaching job. So which one is it?
Were
Do
they?
you not like him enough?
Were they?
What? They weren't. They weren't.
Were they though?
They weren't. They weren't. So what was the reason?
What was
the reason? Hold on. What was the reason why Deion Sanders was waiting, talking about maybe he would go to either Florida State or he was getting an NFL job? I mean,
They didn't want him
he
at
didn't
Florida
just sign
State.
back with Colorado.
They didn't want him at Florida
He didn't
State.
just-
They didn't want him at Florida
Okay.
State.
Well, guess
They didn't
what?
want him at Florida
And
State.
And Florida State is foolish. Mike Norvell.
Okay, I'm just saying they didn't want him at Florida State. Jerry, obviously, Jerry
Mike
did.
Norvell. Mike
Obviously,
Norvell
Jerry
literally just showed you last year that he can't coach without talent. He literally showed you that last year.
Okay.
Literally.
And guess what? And
Deion
guess what?
Sanders has literally showed you he can take FCS
Has
teams
he?
and
Have
make
we
them big
seen?
time.
Have we seen Deion? Look, no one's a bigger Deion Sanders fan than me. Have we seen Deion Sanders coach another coach besides Shedeur Sanders? Have we seen Shedeur Sanders?
No, but do you think that he ain't?
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking you. Have we seen Deion Sanders coach another quarterback beside his son?
Mhm.
Yes or no?
No.
I don't know what the hell he can do.
Guess what?
This is where we're really.
Hold on, though. Hold on.
Okay.
Though. And here's where the word confidence comes into play.
Mhm.
I love it because this is where the word confidence comes into play. I'm sure the greatest cornerback of all time, who took an FCS team and in 2 years went from a 1-win Colorado team to a 9-3 Colorado team. I think by what I've seen, because see, I go by what we've seen.
What was Colorado's record this
Oh,
past
no.
year?
I don't go by. I don't
You
go.
gotta take that
I
into
don't go by
consideration. What was Colorado's record?
9-3. 9-3.
was their first year. 4 and 8 was
First
first year.
year. First year.
William,
First year,
hold on.
okay,
Y'all
so
trying to hold against this. Hold on. Y'all trying to hold 4 and 8 against a man who literally coached in the FCS. Jackson State in the FCS.
Okay, he
school.
came out 9
He
and
brought
4.
82 players.
Isn't
No,
your
Mike,
record?
He brought
Isn't your
82 players from that team to the Colorado
Isn't your
Buffaloes.
record supposed to get better? Isn't your record supposed to get better? You go from 9 and 4 to 4 and 8. You're
No, you're wrong. See, and that's where you're wrong, Mike. If I could hit the mute button, I would on you. He went 4 and 8 the first year and 9 and 3 the second.
Okay, and all
What are you talking about?
And again, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
there's the
I
man.
misspoke. So what I'm saying is, what did he
Oh,
do?
my brother from another mother.
In the
building.
Mookie Hawkins, I'm glad Mookie Hawkins, my man. What's going
I'm
on?
glad he's here. He can clean this up.
We have not seen Deion. I think we can all agree here. We have not seen Deion coach anybody else but his son. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him coach anybody else but his son. We keep saying we know that Deion can coach. We know that Deion can coach. We know that Deion can. Deion is a great motivator. I don't know if he's a great. I don't know. He might be. I don't know if he's a great. Mookie, you're a coach. I would defer to you here. I don't know if Deion is a good X's and O's. We have different type of guys. We got guys that are motivators. You know, I don't think Mike Tomlin's a very good X's and O's coach. I don't.
Good motivator.
I think Mike Tomlin's the kind of coach. He's a rah-rah kind of guy that gets his guys. You got coaches like that. Guys just follow him. He's a great leader.
You got
But
Sean McDermott is a great
trust-
defensive mind, but he's not an offensive guy. So
That's
he's
what
got
I'm
to
saying.
defer
I
off.
don't know if with Deion, he was able to push certain buttons with Shedeur. That I don't know if any other that he could do that with anybody. We're gonna find out a lot about Deion this year. You lost Travis Hunter, you lost your son. So we're gonna find out your two best players.
Have you seen his recruiting class? Well, have you seen his recruiting class?
Recruiting class, that's great. That's all good and well.
He has the best quarterback coming out.
I got you. And every
Based on name only right now.
Every year, every year, there's a guy who's rated the #1 quarterback, and a lot of them pissed down their leg. They pissed down their Mookie. You know this guy. He was you know who else was who else had a really good recruiting class? Michigan when Tom Brady was there, and Drew Henson started over Tom Brady. I don't care about that. We're gonna find out a lot. Look, I love Deion Sanders. We're gonna find out a lot about Deion Sanders this year because I don't think he's particularly a great X's and O's coach. I think he's the kind of guy. He's a rah-rah kind of guy who's able to, have these kids run through a wall for him. You got a guy like Warren Sapp. He's never coached. Marshall Faulk, he's never. You got these names, but just because you have the name, that doesn't mean that you can coach. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out this year. Yeah. We're gonna find out.
Mookie, what's your thoughts on this topic? What's your thoughts on this?
What's the topic?
We talk about Shedeur Sanders and what happened in the draft.
What happened in the draft was Shedeur? It's criminal. Yeah. It's criminal. It was blatant. It was blatant when Tyler Shout went third quarterback taken off the board, and then it was insulting when Cleveland took Dylan Gabriel. That's how you knew this shit was rigged, bro. It's never in the history have I ever seen a kid treated this way. Fuck Deion. This ain't got nothing. Let's talk about the kid. All right. That's what pissed me off more than anything. That here's a kid that did everything that he was supposed to do, did it, performed at a high level. Stage was never too big for this kid. The lights was never too bright for this kid. He performed at a high level. He did more with less. And he was a day 3 guy. How do you go from being a projected first round pick in last year's draft? In last year's draft, how do you go from a first round grade from last year's draft? How do you go from a top 10 pick before the combine to all of a sudden be a day 3 guy? And this is where I'm going to say where Deion failed his son. You failed your son because you didn't have the right people around your son for this process. All right. You're supposed to have top of the line agents that's going to make this shit go away. That's going to clean his agent. Like his image was his image, and his image is why he fell. Because in the words of how my man saying Snowfall, because you don't like the way a motherfucker talk. That's what this is about. Y'all don't
wait a minute. Mookie, don't say that.
You don't
Mookie,
like how
don't say that.
You don't like how, when the kid from Colorado State was talking stuff to him on Twitter or whatever, then they played the game, and then Shedeur said, no, you remember you were saying X, Y, and Z to me. Like all the stuff that they want to point out the negative stuff to make him slide. But at the end of the day,
he didn't pass at the combine. That's the excuse. He didn't show up. He didn't show up and drill and do drills at the combine.
Well, no. But I mean, it got to be some sort of accountability. But for him to
fall, what about the interviewing process? There were things that recommended that he didn't interview well. He didn't come prepared. He didn't do those things. So is that on Shedeur or is that on his dad for not making?
That's on both of them because y'all didn't hire the right guy to prepare you for that process. Now when he had the private workout with Dable, he was unprepared. Dable was a stickler on that shit. So if I'm coming to do a private workout for you, one, they should have had all the parameters, and I'm quite sure that the Giants sent that over to him. I don't know how he prepped for it, or did he prep for it at all? He failed that test, and that's what prompted them to say, hey, maybe this guy don't have it here, what we thought it would take for a franchise quarterback. And you got to understand something too. The game is changing with this quarterback stuff. All right. It's about to be more black quarterbacks in the league than ever before. Right. So what I saw from it is the immaturity of Shedeur Sanders to show people that he could be a face of a franchise. You cannot be a face of a franchise in the studio rapping about your AP. You know what I'm saying? You just certain things that a face of a franchise makeup is, he failed that part. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say that he wasn't prepared, from that. Now, Deion, yeah, that's your moxie. That's your makeup. You did that in the pros. But guess what? You played cornerback. You never played quarterback. It's a different type of requirement to go about yourself in the NFL at quarterback. Deion, when you played on those Super Bowl teams, Steve Young and Jerry Rice was the face of those franchises. When you played in Dallas, Troy Aikman was the face of that franchise. So you could go ahead and be flashy and flamboyant and gold chains and all that, records and all that. You can do all that. You can get away with that. You cannot get away with that at quarterback.
Nope.
Because you portraying a different type of image. You are representing a brand. Whenever you walk out these doors.
What if Lamar Jackson did that? What if Lamar did that?
You are
what would
representing.
happen if that would happen?
Well, right. But with Lamar, they try to blackball Lamar too. If the Baltimore Ravens don't jump back in the first round, he goes into the
second round pick.
He goes into the second round. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all that you just said, you're not telling me that Shedeur Sanders deserved to fall into the fifth round.
Never.
No way.
Never. He should have never fell. He should have went. Okay, I can see the Jackson Dart going before him because we all know that was being. That was being installed.
It's a flavor.
That was already being installed.
And Jackson Dart would have gone second anyway, because my understanding was the Rams were going to take him at that pick before the Giants traded up and took it right ahead. Right. And Jackson Dart was going to be a Ram to back up Stafford at that point, my understanding.
I thought that the Rams was going to grab Shedeur at 46 for the same reason, but it didn't happen. But it was criminal when Tyler Shaw went.
Mm-hmm. That's the one that didn't make sense to me.
But no, this is how it makes sense to me. They know he's a career backup.
Yeah.
They're tanking for Archie Manning next year.
Who's that?
The Saints. The Saints. It's a legacy thing. Granddad played for the Saints. I'm born and raised in New Orleans.
Okay.
Mantis
So what about Miro to Seattle?
Miro went before Shedeur?
Yes, he did. And so did Gabriel.
Well, sometimes you got to look at, I'm not going to bring in a guy like Shedeur to make Sam Darnold nervous, because if he fucks up, everybody's going to be wanting Shedeur to jump in there. And we just paid X amount of dollars for this guy, and we don't know if he got out seeing ghosts out of his fucking system. So we can't play that game with that right there. So we got to go make sure we get a career backup to make sure Darnold is not really looking over his shoulder. He's going to be looking over his shoulder if Shedeur Sanders is there. So I guess, you bring in Melrose, somebody you can develop. He got to understand how to develop.
So Pittsburgh. Okay, so Pittsburgh.
I don't have no answer for Pittsburgh.
We talked about this.
Pittsburgh just let me know that Mike Tomlin don't have no juice whatsoever.
But then again, here's the other one. Miami took one late, and they took Quinn Ewers, who was supposedly supposed to be one of those guys.
When did Quinn Ewers go? When did Quinn Ewers go? When did Quinn
Ewers go? 7th round to the Dolphins.
He went the 7th round. He went the 7th round, but Cleveland fucked it up because they took a quarterback before him. Now I can understand if Shedeur went them in the 3rd round, and then you brought Dylan Gabriel in after that. Make it an RG3 Kirk Cousins type of situation, right? But don't do it on the flip side. So you're saying that you had it. So you're telling me that you had Dylan Gabriel rated higher than Shedeur Sanders on your board?
Never. Apparently.
That's how you know it was all bullshit. You know what I mean? But
how does this all play out?
Here's a question. I got a question. Is him going to Cleveland a setup for failure?
No, I don't think it is.
It's not a failure. It was just to teach him. Clean up your act.
Say it. He got a spanking. He got a
clean
spanking.
up your act, but they just took it a little too far. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they went too far with it. And I think they made a package say, look, nobody draft this kid to day 3. And guess what? Cleveland still has the first option. That's why they traded up to go get the guy. At one point, I was really angry because I never witnessed what I've witnessed in my entire life. I never seen, like you mentioned before, Dre, Johnny Manziel didn't slip when he's alcoholic and starting bar fights and shit like that. I didn't see him slide. I didn't see him slide. I didn't see Baker Mayfield slide when he ran from the police. You know what I mean? I didn't see that. I didn't see Eli Manning slide. Though. I didn't see Eli Manning slide when he had press conferences the day of the draft. Not
still should have been the first pick over whatever. Aaron Rodgers should have been a number 1, not a 24.
But guess what? He was 24th overall. Again, he wasn't
still a first round pick though.
24 and 144.
But my thing is this: you never heard Shedeur Sanders say, "Don't draft me, Cleveland." He just said, "If you don't want the culture change or whatever," and this is where he should have never said that, because they took that and twisted the words or whatever around. It painted a picture that disgusted general managers and maybe some owners by that. You know what I mean? That was probably a little bit too much. You know what I mean? That's where you have an agent that's experienced in these situations to prep him before he go on his podium what to say. You know what I'm saying?
I
that other shit keep to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Found that you can't have dad represent you, give you all your life advice on how to make it through the draft, and then have this happen and go, well, it is what it is.
No, so I think this is gonna work out a certain way. This is how. Look, this is my opinion. I want to know what y'all think about this. I think going to Cleveland is a blessing in disguise for him, and here's the reason why. And here's the reason why, especially where he's at, because they got to fill out other parts of their team, of their roster. You go and get Mason Graham at 5. Okay, you get a Mason Graham at 5, who was a lot of us had as the best interior defender in this draft. You go get a ground and pound running game with I love Quinshon Judkins. I wanted him. You get him in the second round. You get Dylan Sampson. So you got a 1-2 punch there. You still got Jerry Jeudy. You still got Njoku. You got a decent offensive line. The defense, you got, of course, you got, Myles Garrett. You got, JOK. You got Denzel Ward. You got some pieces over there. And then here's the thing. Next year, you get 2 second-round picks. You get two second round picks.
2 ones. You got 2 ones.
I mean, two number ones. You got 2 number ones next year that will allow you to move up and down. Will the kid Smith be able to come out next year? Ohio State, will he be able to come out next year? The wide receiver Smith?
Nope.
No.
It's 2 years out. He was
2 years out. This year. But I'm just saying, it basically allows them the flexibility next year. You're not the only way that Cleveland gets out of this quarterback just abyss that they've been in since they've come back into the league. You need a rookie quarterback, a quarterback who's on his rookie deal. I think Shedeur is going to end up being the starter. Joe Flacco's on a 1-year deal. He's 40-something years old. He's not long-term.
No.
Kenny Pickett's on a 1-year deal. Okay? Deshaun Watson, they would get rid of him today if they could. They just can't because of his contract. Okay.
Next year they'll get. I think they can get rid of him next year.
That's what I'm saying.
But he goes on IR.
That's what I'm saying. So who does that leave?
Yeah.
Who does that leave?
They knew what they were doing.
That leaves Dylan, and that leaves Dylan, and that leaves Shedeur.
Right.
Here's the question. So why is? I've got a question for the panel in general. What's the knock on Dylan versus that? Is it the height thing? Because the skills are there.
Yeah,
you can do everything from the pocket. He got it.
What do we draft? Why did Baker Mayfield go before him? Why did Josh Allen, as raw as he was coming out of Wyoming, why did he go so high?
Poor decision making.
Why did he go? Why did he get drafted?
He went high because of his physical attributes, his rocket arm attributes.
Rocket arm.
They don't want 5'10". Are there 5'10" quarterbacks in the NFL? Yes, but I don't want.
Josh Allen would have won number 1 overall if he had played at Florida State. Josh Allen goes number 1. Period.
Gabriel has accuracy issues, and he's left-handed. You know what I'm saying? So that game that against Ohio State, he got exposed. You know what I mean? Like that game right there, that clearly
He got his
at the
small.
combine, he didn't have a great combine. You know what I mean? So that's why when you look at that, there's no way that he should have went third.
Shedeur Sanders look like? What does Shedeur Sanders look like if he plays for Ohio State or for Oregon?
He win the Heisman.
Sure.
Why? Because of the talent that he has. This is what I keep trying to tell him. He's like, well, he won all these games in his stats. I'm like, look who he played with.
He would win the national championship. If you win the national championship, and he would have won the fucking Heisman.
But watch this. Well, Marcus, then that goes back to what I said when I said he came from an FCS school and then went to Colorado. Let's be clear. 87 players from Colorado came from Jackson State over to Colorado.
Okay, but here's
the whole FCS school to a Power 5 conference school.
Here's the thing that's here's the thing
going to happen in year one.
But there are some people that have hurt him. We talk about the FCS, the FCS schools. You know who else came from FCS school? Carson Wentz. You know who else went to and came to the league and looked like shit? You also had Trey Lance, who went number 3. Guys like that.
And they both went to the same FCS school.
Okay, and and Trey Lance is going on his 14.
But they never. But Shedeur didn't stay there. He moved to a Power 5 conference. And okay, at his time at Colorado, bro, 64 touchdowns and 13 interceptions with no line, no goddamn running back. Over 75% completion of his passes. Johnny Unitas Award winner, Big 12 Player of the Year.
This is why I said what I said earlier.
Fifth round is fucking baffling to me.
Yeah.
It's baffling. It's baffling. Only 5-star he has on that team is Travis Hunter. You put him at Alabama. You put him around all these 4-5-star guys. That kid is going to win the Heisman. Straight up, he's doing more with less, and it's so much of a good.
He might have whitewashed.
He's a good fit for Cleveland because he's accustomed to going to shitty teams, making them good. Jackson State was horrible when he got there. Colorado was horrible when he got there. So
and that's what I was saying, Mookie. That's what I was saying. That was what I was saying, Mookie. This is the best talent that he's ever put. You're going to have a running game. I think Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, they're going to play ground and pound. You got an intermediate threat with Njoku. I think Njoku's really good. You got a guy. Jerry Judy's a damn good wide receiver. He's a damn good wide receiver.
They just picked up Deontay Johnson today.
Did they? So you got, well, we'll see what his thing with Deontay.
You got Tillman. You still got Cedric Tillman, so he was serviceable.
You know, but you got some, and again, you got 2 first-round picks. Flacco's not going to play forever. I think Flacco maybe starts 7-8 games this year.
I'm in the boat where Flacco gets a handful of games and Pickett steps in if need be.
No, it won't be Pickett.
I think Pickett could be used as trade bait. I really think Pickett can be used as trade bait because you're going to have and we see it every year. There's going to be a devastating injury at training camp, and people are going to be scrambling trying to get quarterbacks. We see it every year.
Guys like Kirk Cousins,
Kenny
Pickett,
Aaron Rodgers is still out there. They're going to want to
clear.
You know, you look. What if Derek Carr doesn't play? I don't think Tyler Shutt's going to do it. They'll probably go out and go get some.
No, they're going to stay with Spencer Rattler. They're not going to do nothing. They're going to stick with Spencer Rattler, win as many games as they can, and go get Archie. They're not changing. They're not thinking about quarterback this year. They just got a serviceable backup just in case. You know what I mean? Yep. Spencer Rattler is going to be the quarterback. He was the quarterback last year, so he's familiar with the system and all that stuff. You know. New coach, so he's going to go get his guy next year. Tyler Shaw is not that guy, but for them to take him over Shedeur is insane. Like I would have said, okay, Milroe,
disrespectful, very disrespectful.
I mean, Tyler Shaw, he's 25 years old. He was Justin Herbert's backup at Oregon, for crying out loud.
Yeah, Yeah, he was Justin Herbert's backup before he went to Texas Tech, and then he went to Louisville after 2 years.
For you to be in college football that long and to have that many damn flaws,
well, you got some of these guys. This is the last class that has all those guys.
He would have never went.
This is that last class with the COVID year. That's it. This is that last class that had all the extra COVID years. So those 7, 8 year, 9 year guys that have been going, that's it. They're all done now. This was the last class of those. So seeing the guys like Dylan Gabriel, who got 6 years in college football, Shuck, who got 7 or 8, those are all done now because COVID's done and they've cut that off. So now we're going to start seeing those 2 and 3 year guys start rolling out a lot more. And I think that's what we'll start seeing a change. And we're going to start seeing the need for development because some of these quarterbacks are going to come out super raw and they're not going to be like a CJ Stroud or a Jaden Daniels. I don't expect the quarterback classes to get better as we go along from here because those guys
quarterback classes is going to get better. They're going to get better. You know what I mean? They just don't it's going to be more black quarterbacks in the league. That's what they're going to have to start dealing with. So let's make an example now to let them know that you better come correct. You better be able to be a face of a franchise. You better be mature to be a face of a franchise. You can't just be quarterback. You have to be face of a franchise.
And I think that's what's going to be missing. I think that's the missing piece that will be missing is the maturity level. And I think that's what will be missing.
You don't see Jalen Hurts on here rapping. You don't see that. Did
you see what I just put up?
Interviewing well. You know, now you can
we've been talking about
we spent like an hour on the Shedeur things. Let's move along a little bit. So, you know, we just had the draft. You know, these shows, these talk shows, First Take and all of that, the Speak, you know, they covered the Shedeur Sanders thing to nauseum. So look, we had, you know, a lot of people considered Abdul Carter the best edge in this draft. And some people didn't take this too lightly. They kind of found this a little bit disrespectful. So Abdul, he says he wants to wear number 56. Can I wear number 56? You know, this is Lawrence Taylor, who a lot of people think is the best defender of all time. And he asked, could he wear 56? And Lawrence Taylor said no. Thoughts on this? Is the kid out of line? Is LT being an old fogey? What's our thoughts on this? Terrible. Now we had another situation where Cam Ward, the number 1 pick, he goes to the Tennessee Titans, formerly the Houston Oilers. Warren Moon comes out. He lets him wear he says, yeah, you can wear it. Not a problem. I don't have an issue with that. But he did have a problem. He didn't want him wearing that. So I'm wondering if it's okay. I'll go to the Cam one later. What do we think about this? Do you have a problem with him saying no? Yes, no. What?
I think Lawrence Taylor was well within his right. He's a Hall of Famer. He has his rights to say what he wants. At least the kid asked. I'm grateful that the kid was even just bright enough to just ask instead of going right to ownership and going, hey, I just want to wear 56. But I think if you wanted to wear 56, I think I would have offered something to LT on behalf and said, hey, let me give you something. But there's no way I don't think that you would do it.
It's fucking no. It's just straight no.
Right.
No. Make your own number. Make your own legacy, bro. First of all, you got to show me that you good enough to even don the 5'6", bro. Like, no. The answer is no. Like, no.
You want me to say it in Spanish too? No. You want me to say it in Russian?
And
yes.
Don't be mad at me because I said
you want me to say it in French? No.
No.
So
we have a conversation. Do we get mad at Jimmy Clausen for not giving Cam Newton 2? You know what I'm saying? Nobody talking about that. You know what I mean? So the answer is no. You no. Get a sack in the NFL. You know, and then maybe I'll consider changing my number.
Marcus, you knew that was a hell no. I know you didn't do this.
A hell to the
I know you didn't do that.
No.
Hell to the no. So Cam Ward, he was actually allowed to do it. Warren Moon comes out.
This is a different scenario.
I don't think he asked.
How
I think
is
Warren
it?
Moon
How
just
you
blessed
got
him. I think
Warren Moon,
blessed
Hall of
him.
Fame quarterback, number one, retired for the Houston, Tennessee
Oilers.
franchise, and he says yes. So what's the deal? Are we cool with that? Is it?
I don't think he asked that though. I think Warren Moon just surprised him.
I think that's what my understanding was. Is
that.
Warren just showed up and said, "Here you go."
Warren
Since
just
I saw you,
showed up and gave that to him because he knew he wore one. You know what I mean? He didn't ask Warren Moon, "Can I wear one?" Warren Moon surprised him with that. You know what I mean? It's up to him. It's a retired jersey. It's in the rafters. Only person that could unretire it is that person. So Warren Moon came to the press conference, say, "Hey, young man, this you wear one, do the number proud." You know what I mean? From one black quarterback to another. You know, Warren Moon gets that. But
Warren Moon's been around enough that he's got enough Hall of Fames and all sorts of stuff. He's got more notification or more notoriety in CFL as well as he does in the NFL. So he's fine with what he's got and where he stands in the league. And if, as a gesture, this is what he's doing to try to embolden the franchise to stand behind the kid as well. You're trying to get a name behind. It's the same stuff that Buffalo tries to do, getting behind these kids.
I would have told Abdul Card, I said, you know what, son, get 10 12 sacks your rookie season and then ask me again. And you're not about to wear my number and be a flop. We ain't about to do that. Give us some incentives to wear. If you want to wear this number to say that you're one of the best guys, show me that your rookie year, and then I can always unretire the number. But right now, the answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is hell no. So speaking of people who
hold on, I tell you what though, if Cam Ward ends up being a bust, well, to the moon with that idea, huh?
My thing is this about Cam Ward. Cam Ward is the first number one overall quarterback that got selected that ain't nobody talking about.
Yep.
You can't even know who's the number one, who got picked number one. Any other draft, they talking about.
Hey, Mook. Why is that, sir? Why is that?
Because they spent all their time talking about Shedeur.
Pretty much.
That too.
Pretty much.
So
speaking of people who could potentially bust. Look, I think this is a feel good story. This kid, he's been talked about. Desmond Watson, he's 6'4", 464 pounds, I think. He got drafted. Did he get drafted? I don't know if he got
unrestricted.
He was an undrafted free agent. The kid, he lost a brother. He's a lot of a well-liked guy in the Florida program. He's going to be playing next to Vita Vea over there. Any chance this kid, I'm rooting for the kid, man. I really am rooting for him. I'd like to see him, have some type of success. I'm gonna have to put him on a diet. Like this guy, this guy gonna need a nutritionist. That's just way too heavy. I'd be like, we're going to get you down to 400. Then, we're looking at maybe 385. I need you around 360. I need to get you. You're going to have to lose about 100 pounds, dude. But, you got a guy next to you in Vita Vea, another big man, Polynesian cat. Thoughts on Desmond? Is this kid, is he going to make it? We rooting for this kid. What's the thoughts on Desmond Watson? I saw him play. He's huge, and you ain't wearing no damn 21 either. Talking about numbers, that you got a damn running back number on you. You a damn nose tackle.
Maybe he's the next Bridge.
They get the lower numbers to make them look a little small. You know what I mean? So
there ain't no number. He could wear the number 1, and it's still it ain't making it. He could wear number 0, and he's still big. I hate the single digit numbers and small numbers on big players. I just hate it, and that's and I hate number 0. I never would have worn number 0. These kids, they love it. Mm-hmm. And to me, if you wear number 1, you got to be a dog. To wear number 1 for me, you got to be like, and then with these big players wearing these little ass numbers, I can't put 55 on my quarterback. I can't put 55 on a wide receiver. I can't put 65 on a running back. You're not wearing number 21, dude. You're just not. I'm sorry. You're not wearing that number.
You know, they changed the rules on it. So
I think with the running backs and wide receivers and linebackers, you can wear 0 through the 40s, I believe. 0 through 49. And then if you're an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, you can wear 50 through 99.
50 through 79. Offensive lineman.
Defensive linemen are in the 90s or the 70s.
Defensive lineman is 50s through 99. Offensive lineman is 50 to 79.
You see,
but even then, I'm all for this kid. I think if you could get 70 pounds off of him and have him at 390 by the end of his first year, I think he'd be fantastic. And you can still knock more weight off as you go, but you don't want to take so much weight off him that it's a strain on everything. You want to gradually get this kid down. He's not going to see a boatload of snaps right off the hop, but
it's a good story. Situational guy. He's going to be in every short yardage situation you can possibly do.
Oh yeah, he's going to be there for tush push.
I want to stop that tush push. Yeah, you want to stop the tush push? Here's the answer right here.
No more tush push. There's no more tush push.
Oh, did they make that ruling yet?
Get off. Get off and move to the next slide. Come on, knock it off.
So we let's look at some of these grades on these drafts. Just looking at some of the teams that stood out, I was impressed by a few teams. I thought that they had excellent grades. I don't know if this is from USA Today. I don't know if I totally agree with everything that they put here as far as this, but let's give some of these teams let's give them a grade.
I got one right off the jump. Take this off. Okay. Take this off. Take this off. I got one right off the jump. Take this off. Take it off. Take it off. Please.
Take it off. Take it off. Okay. I'm gonna stop.
Please take this ish off. Please. Because I need to show this. We talk about draft grades. We gotta talk about this if we're gonna talk about a draft grade right about now.
Just listen to the last few minutes to your show before I came on, waiting on here.
All right.
Sounds like 2018 all over with you guys.
Oh, how so?
Well, you guys were bitching in 2018 about Josh Allen. You guys wanted Josh Rosen, and now you guys are bitching that we don't have a receiver. I don't get it. Like, we just hold on, let me talk. We just scored 30 points in a row for 8 straight games. A year ago, I get you guys asking why we didn't have receivers, but I don't understand it now. You just saw us lead the league in points when you add all the postseason. No one scored more points than the Buffalo Bills, including the Super Bowl champions. So you just saw us do it without Stephon Diggs, same group. How is this group not better than last year's group? Our job is to score points and win games. Where do we need to get better? Defense. We did that. So I get it. You got to have a show and you got to have something to bitch about, but bitching about wide receiver is one of the dumbest arguments I've heard.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it there for now. Mookie, would Brandon Beane ever come on Waffle Sports Report and ever do some shit like that? No.
Would you ever be dumb enough to ask him a question like that?
Because I'm not gonna go on radio and bitch about a position that they clearly don't fucking need. You know what I mean? They showed you that. The big question last year, this Bills team is not going to make the playoffs. The window's closed because of why? You lost your top 2 receivers. Never in a year has a quarterback lost his number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. They showed you didn't really need that type of makeup. All right. So for them to say in the draft that they didn't hit on wide receiver, you drafted Keon Coleman with the top pick in the second round last year. You brought in Curtis Samuel. He's dealing with some injuries, but we know he's a dynamic piece when healthy. You brought in Palmer. Palmer was really the replacement for Cooper. So the thing is, who's going to replace Matt Collins? Like, you really, that's what this is all about, where the Bills still need a receiver because you haven't placed Matt Collins, a guy who a lot of people thought that wasn't going to be a receiver for this Bills team. Everybody laughed at Matt Collins when the Bills picked him up. Now all of a sudden, Matt Collins is the only person that's not on the roster no more, and we didn't address fucking receiver. Out of all the things, that's not the reason why you didn't make it to the Super Bowl. You can't stop nobody. You can score all the points in the world, but you can't stop nobody. And for McDermott to be a defensive guy and can't stop nobody, you better fucking address that before that gets addressed. Because you ain't gonna have too many times saying that you a defensive guy and y'all can't stop nobody on defense to get to a Super Bowl, and it's supposed to be your expertise. So you better go heavy on defense. Leave no stone unturned. And that's what it is. A receiver, you don't need one right now. Josh Allen I could go line up at receiver and get 2 targets a game, because that's all the receivers is getting, other than Khalil Shakur and Dalton Kincaid. Everybody else is getting 2 targets a game. So where do you feel that there's a need at wide receiver? What is really needed in the passing game is for them to take more shots, to be more aggressive in the passing game with the receivers that they have. You know what I mean? As far as bitching and complaining about a receiver, I love Brandon Beane for what he said earlier this morning.
Okay, so looking at that first pick, the first pick was Buffalo's first pick, first round pick. Who's y'all take? Was it Harrison? Harrison was the fastest corner in there. I think it's great to have speed. So when you look at this draft, let's look at some of the draft picks and for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because you know exactly where I'm about to go with this. Mookie, you know, like I know. Ain't no way in hell, Brandon. I love what he said, because you know how I feel about GR News Radio 55 any damn way. Buffoons. He would have never got away with that with neither one of us on that. Number one, let's address that, the wide receiver thing. No, because James Cook was killing last year. No, you didn't. You scored 30 points, 8 games in a row until you needed to score 30 points to win a football game. Number one. Number two, secondly, sir, last I checked, I looked at Josh Allen's numbers in the playoffs, sir. Is anybody telling me that you couldn't have got better passing production by having a more solidified, talented wide receiving core against the Chiefs? Because I saw what he did against Denver. I saw that in Denver. We all watched the Baltimore game. You watched it, I watched it. And then we also watched Kansas City, right? I mean, when we watch these teams, these Super Bowl teams pack it in. They pack up talent in abundance at the most respectable positions. Tampa Bay won their Super Bowl. They stacked up their roster. Philadelphia won their Super Bowl because they stacked up their roster defensively, and they had enough wide receiving core to win with Saquon Barkley running the football. But what you did last year, you may not be able to do that again next year. Because why? Because people have tape, right? We have tape. We see tendency. We see pattern. Just like Andy Reid was able to know that Buffalo runs the sneak on the left side of the formation.
Do that. That go back to
well, everybody knew that. Okay, so everybody knew that, right? Yeah. So everybody knew that, right? And everybody know that the best player on offense is James Cook, right? Am I right or wrong?
After Josh Allen.
After Josh Allen. But yeah, James Cook is the best offensive player on that team, right? So do you get cocky or confidence from that? Because now, I mean, we've been talking about cocky and confidence all day long, right? Do you get cocky out of that, or do you get confidence out of that?
Well, for me, them playing Ray Davis in certain situations during the game, to me, that's what it, and I thought that they got away from the run.
Right.
I think
you got away from James Cook. You got away from James Cook. That was the problem.
You all did the same thing that I thought that the Ravens did. I'm like, how do you only give Derrick Henry 12 carries? Like, how does that happen?
Right.
And we know that Derrick Henry gets better as the game goes on.
Where you're force feeding him the ball and he's just running up and down the field for 1,900 yards, and then in the most critical game, you're gonna put Ray Davis in
at first. They were stopping him at first, and they had to throw the ball to kind of like get back in the game. When they came out in that in the second half, they got the run game going. They chipped into. That's how they really got back into the game by running the football. But I mean, hell, Andrews dropped the pass to tie it.
Well, he fumbled the one. He fumbled that third down catch.
Football guys was on the field side, but the Kansas City game, I'm going to that's on coaching. That's on coaching because Kansas City stacked the box, dared you to throw one-on-one. You only went deep because you was down 21-10, and you had Mac Hollins matched up one-on-one with Trent McDuffie, their number one corner. Guess what? Mac Hollins beat their number one corner and scored a touchdown. They never went back to that shit the entire game. I don't care if it was Trent McDuffie and Mac Hollins. Set another one-on-one matchup like that again and go up top. They never did that. When they got the lead, when the defense did finally get the one stop out of the game that they needed, the offense was the worst possession of the entire game. It was not a sense of urgency to score points. They had the ball. They got the ball back. It was 22-21, and you doing fucking bubble screens to your tight end and having Khalil Shakur be the blocker on that. The personnel is an issue in certain situations. James Cook in that last drive was even on the field.
Yeah, he
wasn't even on the field.
Ray Davis.
The last time he touched that football, James Cook, is when he had to bend over backwards and go gadget arms and legs and knees
into the end zone for that
touchdown. He never touched the ball no more after that play. The man had 13 carries for 80 yards, 3 catches for 50 yards, never touched the football. Me being a defensive coordinator is like, oh shit, James Cook ain't out there. Why you think they blitzed the corner? They had Ty Johnson at receiver on 4th and 5. I'm looking at him like, yo, go. They ain't giving this fool the ball. On 4th and 5, he ain't the primary man. Go get the quarterback, man. Yeah. So it's personnel that kills the bill. And that everybody eats shit, everybody can't eat when the game on the line. You got to recognize who is in this game. You got to go with your horses. Right there, James Cook was the horse, and he was on the fucking sideline. He was on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? You going tush push, James Cook on the sideline. You got Ray Davis getting the ball, fumbling it. Thank God he got it back. But at that time of game, he's not in the flow of the game, and he's a rookie. He should have never even been out there.
Not against KC. Not against KC.
Y'all just so free and just go everybody.
Yeah. So hold on before you say that, Marcus. So then, guess what? We back to the coaching thing again, huh? So guess what?
Well, Spags out-coached Brady in that situation. And, that's why I asked Josh. You mentioned it a minute ago. I asked Josh when he first came back, how much did you learn about tendency? Because at that point in time, you need to know in that certain situation what Spags like to do. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't the first time you've been up against Spags. So you need to understand that tendency in that situation, what Spags like to do. And again, if Brian Dable was there, he would have had a way better game plan because he knows what Spags like to do.
Whoa. So we're giving Brian Dable credit now because I remember
don't
tell him that.
I'm very critical. Now don't get it twisted. I was very critical of Brian Dable.
I know you were. That's what I'm saying.
Look, when I saw Brian Dable in Colorado, I said, I missed the shit out of you. I said, I missed the shit out of you. I said, the offense ain't
here because that's all I used to hear. Brian Dable, he's not creative and he doesn't have any. And then now.
Then he got creative, though. And shit, 13 seconds cost that. 13
Okay,
seconds.
so watch this. You're going to get to my point. And my point is the Buffalo Bills are giving people fuel to think that you need these positions because in personnel, in situations of personnel, they're not putting the right personnel out there and they're making them look like buffoons. It looks bad because again, we got coaching and personnel issues. I think this has been a problem for a while now. This is just a day-to-day thing. I think Ken Dorsey had those same issues, personnel issues.
Different issues with these are different issues.
And he was boring, and he became boring and stuck in his ways after his few games of success.
Brady, I don't know. They just got, to me personally, they just got tight as fuck at the stretch. Like they didn't know how to win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you
do what you do. They got you there.
Right. Exactly.
Well, that's also why we talk shit about. Hold on, but what says he mentioned Dable, but that's also why we talk shit about Dable too, because Dable, the year that they played Phillip Rivers, you remember the Colts game, sir? We was there. You remember being in enemy territory. You run the ball 3 times in a row, same shit. And I looked up at Dable like, what the fuck are you doing, sir? Like, what's going on here? No creativity, nothing. We ain't doing what we did to get to the dance. This ain't how we got to the dance doing this shit.
But he grew and he learned. That's how he ended up getting the head coaching job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He got better.
Totally.
He got better. That 1 year he got better, and I stood back. He was gone the next year after that. Now it's Josh Allen's process, and again, this is where he needs to learn that because, for one, you did not change the protections. No, you did not change the protections in that situation. Those guys came scot-free. You know what I mean? Like you.
So he didn't audible to another.
No, he didn't put the right protections in, bro. Like they didn't put
the protection. He should have slid it.
Like Spags disguised the hell out of that shit where Josh was premature on the damn protections and had enough time to make those protections, but I don't know.
Do we see this Mahomes / Allen thing as like Manning Brady back when Manning and Brady were going back and forth with each other? Is it just
no, because fucking Manning ended up beating Brady.
Eventually, yes.
Josh has not beaten.
Not yet, but we had that spell for those years.
Like this shit
there was a 7-year span where Brady just couldn't be beat. It's just what it was.
Okay, it's the same. You said yeah. Did Dan Marino beat Jim Kelly?
Handful of times, but never in the playoffs.
I'm talking about. I ain't talking regular season. I'm talking about when it mattered. It's not written in the stars that not yet. It's our turn. There are no turns. It's like you got your right now. That is your kryptonite. That's your kryptonite. And to me, it's a mental hurdle, like we were talking about earlier. Guess who didn't have a mental hurdle with the Kansas City Chiefs? The Eagles, because they were like, I don't care. You're going in there before the game. Oh, we don't expect to get any calls. We don't expect this. The Eagles said, I don't give a damn. We're going to come out there and punch you in your mouth and kick your teeth in. And I don't think that the Bills have that mentality. I think it's Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. It's just, here we go again. Something happens. And I think that's why he got it like in the second fight, why he bit his ear, because it's like, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose like this again, because it was a mental hurdle. You need some players on that team that's like, I'm tired of losing to these guys.
Right.
I'm tired of losing to these guys, and I'm going to do whatever I can. And that's why I was a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit disappointed. We're talking about the draft and what we're giving them as a grade. Is there anything that they've done in this offseason that you feel like has given them more of an advantage going in the next time that you see Kansas City in a big game?
Hell yeah. If they with the pieces that they brought in this year on defense, there's no excuse now. You know what I mean? Boys ain't got their money, and you know, we not paying for pressure rating no damn more. Like Greg Rousseau, you get $20 million a year for damn pressure. No, get some damn sacks. You know what I'm saying? Get to the quarterback. The problem with the Bills is you can't get the quarterback down on third down when it matters the most. And during a regular season, you can get away with that shit. But come playoff time, the numbers is going to show what it really is. And the Bills was damn near at the bottom of the chain on third down, and Kansas City made every third down look very, very easy.
And that's why guys like Landon Jackson were brought in, because he can get there. He can get home. You brought in a Bosa to be that situational pass rusher where you've seen the success when he gets there. I'm saying, and do you understand how that scheme works? Like, he's rotational players. So these guys are going to come in on a rotation. So Bosa's not out there 3 plays in a row, 5 plays in a row, 7 plays in a row. He's out there 2 or 3 plays.
If y'all got faith in Bosa, I don't have no faith in Bosa.
I don't have all the faith in Bosa, but I understand what he can do. And if we get
brought him in,
half of that,
and guess what? So did the Chargers, and they said we'd rather keep Khalil Mack over this guy. That's what they decided. We were because that they had Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, and the Chargers, they said we would rather keep Khalil Mack, who's 33 years old. We would rather keep him than Joey Bosa because Joey Bosa gets hurt tying up his cleats. He gets hurt.
Hold on now.
Well, Marcus, hey, baby. Hey,
you being real nice. You
different
being
time,
real
and
nice.
everybody brought in Landon.
No.
But again,
if the Bosa experiment don't work, you got Landon Johnson. You still got Javon Solomon, which I think is very very serviceable. All right, you got Rousseau,
and Epinesa,
AJ Epinesa. You know what I'm saying? So they can work with that.
We also have new D tackles here. We also have Michael Huckner.
Got Mike Hoyt, you know what I mean, from the Rams. Another high motor guy when he's able to get off his P.
Ogunjobi can put pressure up.
You know what? To be personal with, I don't think Larry O even play in the Bills uniform this year.
I like the.
I don't think he play.
I like the Deion Walker draft pick. So,
Marcus D, I knew you was gonna do this. You gonna let him slip. You gonna let Mookie get away. He on the show right now. We've been waiting for Mookie to come on the show. After the shows we done had about these damn Buffalo Bills, Mookie, I'm not about to let you get away. First of all, number one, I know I've been gone for 3 months and I came on the show. I did the show, the radio show and all that. We did a show in a minute just because of my schedule. But you on here, I ain't letting you get off. It's time to examine this thing. Let's examine this thing. First and foremost, number one, you picked 2 defensive tackles, 6 games, PEDs ain't even playing. What's up with that?
The Bills got bad groceries. I didn't agree with that. It was bad groceries. You know, that was bad groceries, right?
Okay, I'm glad that he admit that. So we got that on wax. Bad groceries. You heard that, Marcus. Keep a trip to this now.
And somebody that can't.
Bad groceries. Number one for a team who needs to get over the hump to win the Super Bowl.
Why
bad
you
groceries.
Drafted 2 D tackles.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to be cute. I see you trying to fix your little issues.
Well, I didn't understand at first. I didn't understand the TJ Sanders pick because everybody want the big one tech guy. They want the 6'4", 6'5", 330-pound guy with the motor, right? So that's what I'm thinking where the Bills' direction is going. I even asked Harrison at the presser, you know what I mean?
3 tech or 1 tech? 3 tech or 1 tech?
1 tech.
You said 3 tech. Okay. You said 1. You said 3 tech.
the Bills need a 1 tech. You got Ed Oliver really as your 3 tech, right? So you don't need another 3 tech guy. To me, TJ Sanders is a 3 tech. He's 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds, right? So he's more of a 3 tech. He could play a 1. Brandon Beane explained that when he came out, because I was like, damn, y'all traded up to get this guy. He's a little light in the ass, to think that he's going to be able to play alongside Ed Oliver. So Beane comes out, he makes sense. But before all that, before Beane comes out, we interview Harrison. So I asked Harrison, I was like, hey, man, you can get your boy Deion Walker on the line. Maybe you can come to Buffalo, right? So, he said what he said. So the Bills take TJ Sanders, right? And Beane comes out and say, yeah, he's a 3 first that could play 1. And the reason why we got him that high like that, he had a high grade on a board. And the Bills' problem is they can't get the quarterback on the ground on 3rd down. So we need a pass rushing defensive tackle to play alongside Ed.
Somebody to pair him with
So
Ed.
that's why they got TJ Sanders where they got him at. Guess what? They doubled back and got the 1 tech, the biggest 1 tech in the entire draft, 6'7", 335, in Deion Walker. So that shaped the damn line, especially when you add a Landon Jackson in that mix. So you got the best pass rushing D tackle in this year's draft. You got the biggest D tackle in this year's draft, and you got a stud of an edge guy in Landon Jackson, high production to pair with Ebenezer, Solomon, Bosa, and Rousseau. That rotation alone right there is way better than the Buffalo Bills defensive front
last year.
They had last year. Way
okay,
better.
Mookie, when I was watching the draft and I was looking at what was going on with the draft when Buffalo was coming up, and I know the bromance that you have with this guy, and when he was still sitting there and y'all didn't take him.
Ooh, and I seen that.
I want to know what you were thinking, because we done did shows. You done came on my show. We done talked about it, and your eyes. It was like Halle Berry was sitting there in a 90, and he's sitting there at 30, and I was like, Mookie Hawkins has got to be doing backflips right now. He's got to be doing backflips. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Emmanuel.
I
wanted Emmanuel, but when you look at
Emmanuel, I was like, Mookie Hawkins is going to lose his damn mind. I know he's over there salivating right now. He's had a bromance with this guy. I didn't watch his radio show. He mentions it like 20 times. He gets this little glitter in his eye, this gleam in his eye when he said, Emmanuel. Maybe he's there at 30. We would really, with our safeties, both of our safeties leaving. This guy, this guy's a freak of nature. He broke all these combine records. What were your thoughts there when he was sitting there? Were you yelling at the TV? Come on, you can be honest here. Were you yelling at the
TV? I was like, damn, he's on the board. Trey Amos is on the board. Harrison is still on the board.
And Harrison was on the board, and I'm like,
I had to be realistic. Now, I'm thinking like, okay, in the event that Trey Amos was going, because he was projected on people's mock boards to go higher a little bit. So was Harrison. So I was like, okay, these damn dudes is everybody's still. The D tackles was gone. Tyreek Williams gone. Grant gone. You know what I mean? So those was the only guys to me. Harmon, that carried really a first round grade. You know what I mean? So, but the corners are still there. So I'm like,
don't forget Will Johnson.
Well, he was already red flagged at that time for the knee. Okay. So we knew that the Bills weren't going to get him. He started to slide. Once Miami went in, and what they took who? Barron? No. Who took Barron? Tampa Bay.
Jahdae Barron went to Tampa.
He went to Tampa, right? Yeah. So once we know he went, that Georgia going to be a day 2. I mean, what's the name told me when it was in the green room that,
turf toe. He had really bad turf toe.
ACL. He had ACL. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Who?
Wait a minute, Barron?
Yeah.
Will Johnson.
Oh, Will
Johnson. The corner from Michigan.
Didn't Barron go to the Eagles?
No. The Eagles, they got Jihad Campbell.
Jihad Campbell. Okay. Another person. Another person. Hold on. But Mookie, I got to add another element that these guys did not add. Brandon Beane. I just got to ask. Last year,
You traded out of the first round with the same pick. If you trade out of the first round again, right, you presumptuously get 2 second-round picks, right?
You already had
Harrison,
already had two.
I don't give a damn if he had 4. It's more capital. You get more players, right? For your bucks.
You gotta have a partner, though.
Hold on. Yeah, you gotta have a partner. Who? Wait a minute. So you telling me there's not one team that would have?
It depends on what they're. It depends on what they're offering.
Okay, and again, fine and dandy. Did you put the offer out there like you put it out there last year? Harrison was not even on nobody's first round draft pick, mock draft. Nobody's. I looked it up. He wasn't on nobody's first round. My thing is, you could have traded that 30th overall, got your boy that you got sparkly eyes for, and got Harrison in the second round before you even got TJ. The guy TJ, what's his last name?
Probably thinking though that Emanwari, his workout was so phenomenal.
What pick did Emanwari go at? What pick? Just answer the question. What pick did he go at?
Who was it?
Seattle?
Was it Seattle?
They traded with Tennessee to get him.
Yeah.
Right. They traded up. Seattle
into the early second round, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like you weren't gonna.
The Bills wasn't gonna get corner and then go get safety in the second round. That's just not how that one's gonna work. You know what I mean? Corner was the positional need, and both of they got.
I think they have to reevaluate that trade chart because what
why not?
Cleveland got to move up 3 spots was crazy.
But that's what Jacksonville gave up. They had no trade. They made them offer they couldn't refuse.
That's what I'm saying though. So the trade chart, we may have to start reevaluating this trade. They moved up 3 spots. They moved from 5 to 2. And they
I'll look it up real quick and
next
see what the
year's
numbers are.
_1.
You got to do that. Anything when it's a top 5, when it's a top 10, damn near, you got to give up your 1 for next year.
Damn.
So Mookie, again. So Mookie, my question though is why not though? And let me add this into the equation.
Why not? When you got a guy that's carrying a high grade. And look, let's say this. What was the Bills' problem against Kansas City? They ain't got nobody that can run with Worthy.
So
shit like that.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute.
Before you start going on crazy and shit. Hold on before you start
going
because
you know where I'm about to go next.
The Bills is a zone team. The first possession of that game, they were in zone. Patrick Mahomes and them went down the field so goddamn easy in that first possession. The Bills had to switch to man the entire game. They don't all they corners 4, 5, 4, 6 guys. They ain't got nobody that can run.
Right. So you ain't got the foot speed in the secondary, right?
They don't have no speed in the secondary at all.
Okay, so watch this. So you ain't got no speed, right?
So what you do? What you do? You go and get the fastest guy in the draft, bro.
I want to throw my
You
phone
go get the fastest guy in the draft.
Remind you. Why are you so quiet, sir? Then why the hell did they get Trey White?
Because Trey White they nurtured Trey White. They birthed Trey White. He knows everything about their scheme.
So then why would you so watch this? So why did you let him go then? I'm not understanding.
Because he was still hurt.
I let him go.
He was still hurt. He was still hurt. He was still making a lot. Hang on. He was making a lot of money and he was hurt. You let him go.
Okay. He had zero. Hold on, but he had zero leverage. What are we talking about? If he was hurt, then he had zero leverage. Right?
What are you talking about? He had zero leverage.
Hold on. What did Trey White go to the Rams for?
Because they fucking paid him to go there. You think I'm not gonna turn down the money? You think I'm gonna sit on the couch and wait for it?
Do you know what he was making when he was still with Buffalo? Do you know what he was making?
If a team cuts you, bro, if you don't have a job, I'm going to go somewhere where I have a job. So it was just a business side. Now, mind you, if he would have sat on the couch and healed and nursed, the Bills probably would have brought his ass back mid-season because that's what I figured that they was going to do anyway with him coming off the injury like that. It took mid-season for him to even get back into form. So I'm like, okay, the Bills just might bring him back mid-season, completely healthy. Boom. But hey, the business side say, hey, Tre'Davious White, come to the Rams. Oh, trade you to Baltimore. He played quite well in Baltimore. You know what I mean? So
He played a handful of games at Baltimore.
That's all.
Quite
That's
well.
fine. That's all the Bills needed to
It's
see.
a tryout.
That's
You're
all
watching the
Bills-
film.
that's
If he's
all the
healthy
Bills
and he's
needed to
back
see.
from that,
played
and Baltimore's
4
not
games
bringing him
with
back.
the Rams in a handful of games with the hold on, in a handful of games with the doggone Ravens, and then you pay this man, what was it, 6 point?
That's
Going
in
on-
incentives, bro. He got a 1-year deal for $2.2 million. Incentives up to 6.8.
He was
got
making like 20. He
$20
was
in
making 20. He was making 20 when he was with y'all originally. So you let him go. You let him. We're not going to pay you. You're not
lost-
healthy.
wait a minute.
We're going to let you
lost
off.
2 years. Hold on, but this is where I get upset. You lost 2 years of continuity with a guy that could have still
You
been
didn't
on the
lose no
team.
continuity. He knows
Continuity.
everything about your system. You didn't lose anything. You didn't lose anything. He knows everything about your system. He said it in the presser. He said he was calling that shit out when he was in the Ravens uniform.
And he
Or
said
when
he
was
wanted to come
on
back. He
TV.
said he wanted to come back too.
He
goes,
never
I was
wanted to leave.
Yeah. He
So
said,
here, I'm going to
his
give you a quick
agent.
heads up on that trade. If you guys want to know what that trade looks like. So to move from 5 to 2, it's 1,100 points. That 33 pick or even that 35 pick is only 560 points. So given that second, you're still 400 to 500 points short. So to incentivize them, you give them that extra one, and that's enough. And they did flip 4s, and then they flipped a 5 and a 6 one way.
That's
or the other.
expensive, though.
So and it made the points balance out where they were.
Cleveland fleeced them.
I got a question. Getting back to Trey White. I got a question. Getting back to Trey White. So he playing corner?
Yeah, he's playing corner.
And if he does, and if he's struggling, they'll put him back at safety to back there with Rapp. That's what they'll do.
Might as well
until
put him
gets
at
ready to
safety
go.
now. I don't know why we playing.
And then here's the other thing
And
too.
again, you have Max Harrison to slide in if Trey is struggling. You stick Max Harrison in, and he's the number
If y'all
2.
get your ass, Mookie. Just
Well,
know
it's gonna be Harrison, Dane Jackson, Trey White for number 2. We know Benford is 1.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting for 2.
And you can't put, and you can't. I mean, yeah, you could try putting Trey Davis White at safety. I did say that as well, but they brought in Jordan Hancock too from Ohio State, who can play safety and nickel.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And he's faster. You know what I mean? So I want Trey going to play safety because hey, he learned from the best in Hoyer and Hyde. And you know, coming off an ACL and an Achilles, you was not going to have.
So you want Trey White covering T. Higgins, huh? So you want Trey White?
He's not going to have the speed. He's not going to have the speed.
You
He's
want
not
him?
gonna have, so why you think they went and got Harrison? You got the fastest guy in the draft that's going to be able to run with those guys.
Fastest guy don't mean you can cover though.
Well, you got better rush too. You know what I mean? So that goes together.
Bogey, just remember today is 4/28/2025. If they get their ass torched, I'm coming back to this show, Mr. Optimistic again. Okay.
That's why. And you know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to say? That's why you fucking draft the fucking safety. Because he's right. See,
when I saw him still in the board, I swear, I was sitting there when I was watching the draft and I saw Imawar was still on the board at 30. I go, Mookie, I would pay some of my disability money to see Mookie Hawkins right now. The look on his face. He probably had the same look I had when CeeDee Lamb was dropping in 2020, and I was like, I want AJ Epinesa. Then I see CeeDee Lamb at 16. Marcus, you still want? I don't want Epinesa no more. I don't want it. I want CeeDee Lamb.
When you see their corners, that was
you should have heard Marcus. Marcus mentioned it 7 times in a row, back to back to back to back. You just gave up him. He said it about 7 damn times. That's how shocked he was when
he was there, but he was there. But the corners was there too.
But the corner is a bigger need.
Yeah, if the corners wasn't there, then I've been the bigger need. Because it's like now it's really best available player because all your D tackles you had was gone, and
wait a minute, is it though?
Was gone. Now, Dre, to your point,
so you're going to trust Dane Jackson if you took the safety. You're going to trust Dane Jackson and Trey White to go fight that one out.
Huh?
I'm just,
Okay, time out.
he asked,
So
he
here's
asked
my
the corner
question.
wasn't
What
important.
happened
So
to
I said, if
Rasul
you grab
Douglas?
him and Warrior, you're going to let Trey White and Dane
I said
Jackson
this.
battle that
I
out.
said this. I
What
said
happened
this.
to what happened to Rasul?
After the presser with Bean and Trey
He's
White
a
and all
free
that
agent.
stuff, and Josh that day they came out. I said, now when you looking at 30, now that they got Trey White, Dane Jackson, because he made it seem like Dane Jackson and Trey White was going to battle for the number 2 spot. So I'm like, does bringing Trey White back makes Bean a little bit more comfortable to go somewhere else at 30? And that's why I say, shit, now they can probably put Manuary on there because maybe, at 30, you got Trey White and Dane Johnson battling at number 2, so you can go get a corner at 56 at the time that'll still be there and go get best available player now at 30. But 428 is still
You
on the board.
could have got Savon Rivelle. We got him at 76.
But again, he's damaged goods. He hurt. You know what I mean? Like the Bills are scarred off that shit, especially with these dudes with these PEDs. You cannot be drafting players that's hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Morrison,
the injury designations were automatic red flags for us. Like there was no way you were going to take anybody hurt.
And especially at corner in the conference.
Just remember, Mookie said that's why you drafted safety, y'all. Just remember, he said
that's why you drafted safety. So now my thing is this.
Wait a minute. You really expect Trey White to cover your 2 or 3 in the slot? That's what y'all expect?
No, you got Taron Johnson, one of the best slots in the NFL.
He's the nickel.
I know. So, okay. So Trey White is going where is what I'm asking.
Trey White going to be your number 2.
Oh, my God.
Right now, he's going to be your number 2.
To start camp, he's the number 2. Will he win it in camp?
We know how the Bills go. We know how the Bills go. Rookies.
You should know how this
play
works.
as much. And I don't know why but they don't play as much. But Harrison is going to play. He's definitely going to play. But
I don't want to see Trey. If he's number 2, I don't want to see Trey White lined up on. I don't want to see him lined up on T. Higgins.
Trey White is a quality depth piece. You can put him anywhere because guess what? He knows your scheme in and out. He could be that corner and dime. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He could be that corner and dime with Harrison on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So
just imagine Jaden Waddle. I bet you Waddle is licking his lips right now. He's bringing this one.
But again, here's the deal.
Can't even say that. Like because Harrison is going to be out there when they play those dudes. Like he's going to be. You're not putting 428 on the damn bench.
To play nickel.
You're not putting 428 on the bench. Let's be real with that. He's not putting 428 on the bench when you need a corner. So it's his job, but he's going to learn from Tre'Davious how to play that shit. You know what I'm saying? The training wheels come on.
You brought him in as a training piece then.
Guys, we've been
a quality depth piece that now you're the veteran guy that's going to groom the rest of these younger fucking corners. You know what I'm saying? Rasul Douglas has left the building. Poyer and Hyde is no more. So who's going to be that vocal piece in the cornerback room now?
Y'all not getting Rasul Douglas back?
Nah. Why?
He was slow. He was slow last year. Yes, he could cover, but he was slow.
He won his money.
He's still a free agent, ain't he?
Yeah.
Yep. He's still just like Asante Samuel Jr. He's still a free agent.
He's hurt.
I'll say this. If this guy could just say, you know what, man, screw the money, sign me up. If the Bills could somehow grab Justin Simmons.
Oh, I thought you.
If the Bills can nab Justin Simmons, what they have right now, shit. That's all I'm gonna say about that. He's still out there. Now, Hancock, they did say that he could play safety, he could play nickel, so I know he's gonna get his shot there. You know what I mean? I know
he's gonna find a way to earn his spot.
I think some of these guys are waiting. They're waiting for an injury in camp. They're looking. Asante Samuel, he's still.
And again, I don't think DeMar Hamlin's going to be the starter either at free safety.
DeMar Hamlin can't cover. He's
No, so that's why I think the young
box
kid from
safety.
last year,
Bishop's
the
a box
rookie from
safety.
last year is going to have a
Pratt's a
shot
box
at
safety.
beating him.
Those three guys that they got are box safeties.
Yeah.
They don't have a free safety that can cover ground like Hyde did. You know what I'm saying? So that's
That's
why
why I
you
wanted Sebastian Castro. I wanted Sebastian Castro from Iowa because he could do that. He had the Micah Hyde capabilities. He could just break out and just go anywhere. He didn't get drafted and he got picked up down in
Right, for sure.
I think he went down to Tampa Bay.
For 3. That's a no-brainer for me.
Right.
No-brainer for a lot of people with those.
Simmons not the same. Man, we appreciate y'all. We've been on here for 2 hours, man. We've been chopping it up, man. We got Mookie Hawkins.
I'm mad as hell because we haven't even got to the bread and butter of stuff, man. We didn't
It's
talk
okay.
about we didn't talk about the prank call. We didn't talk about Shannon.
We did,
Sharp.
man. We get caught. We get so caught up with stuff, man. We spent like an hour on the Shedeur Sanders thing.
We didn't talk about. Oh my goodness, we didn't talk about. Oh, you know
Green
what?
Bay finally
I'm
taking
glad
a wide
you all
receiver in
didn't
the first
look at-
round.
Hey, Moot. Lay a tarp, play a heart. Where the fuck is Shannon Sharp? Timberwolves in 5. Timberwolves in 5. yeah. Timberwolves in 5. Where your boy at now with that Lakers in 5 shit?
Lakers is on the brink.
Hold on.
Let's go. Defending champs coming right back through again. Don't y'all worry.
Against the wall. Brian, what you gonna do? They just need that now. This is let you know they need a consistent number 3. Who is that guy for the team? When playoff time comes, it's good to have a duel, but when playoff, you need a big.
You got Bronny though.
What happened to Bronny Jr.? I thought Bronny Jr. was
Bronny.
the second coming.
You got Bronny though. LeBron James Jr.
Cut that out, y'all.
The Shedeur Sanders of the NBA.
Well, he got drafted higher than Shedeur.
He's the ball. He's the LeVar.
Hold on, though. He was feeling gnarly. Hardy. What the hell was Charles Barkley talking about? The Rockets over the Warriors. The Warriors.
I knew the Rockets.
What the hell wrong with him too? See, I didn't even get to talk about none of that. I didn't get to talk about no NBA. I didn't get to talk about none of those topics. We're gonna talk about that in the next show, though. I'm telling you right now. I've been passing up on this NBA talk for a minute. I ain't gonna pass up too much longer. Marcus,
what you grade the Cowboys? What's the Cowboys grade? What you giving?
A-. I loved every pick that they made. I really did. And I grade hard. I don't grade on a curve. Getting Booker, you get the best.
You look,
you get the best guard the best guard in this draft. You come back, you get Ezra Raku. This guy, Ezra Raku, I had a first round grade on him. You basically got 3 first round picks. Guys ahead. I had what did you have Ezra Raku? Where'd you have him at? 1, 2, first, second round grade. Where'd you have Ezra Raku?
I had top 40.
I had him late 40. First, early second.
Early second.
Mm-hmm.
Booker
was a top 20 for me.
Booker was a first round pick.
And Ravel.
Top 40.
I had third grade because of the injury.
But I'm just saying, if he doesn't have that injury,
if
he's not, then he's a top 20, top 25 guy.
I love everything that they're then going back. Jaden Blue, I'm a long
fan.
Jaden Blue.
I like
you
that
talk
one.
About when I see him, the comparisons that I've seen for Jaden Blue are Devon Achane. A guy who, if he gets to the second level, he's gone. So the way that they use him, I could see that he's as big as James Cook, but he's faster.
And you're going to have a chance to be third place again this year.
I'm just saying. And dude, they still got $40 million in cap space. And they'll get another 10. They'll get another 10 when they get the Micah Parsons deal done. They are number 2.
And they're going to get another 10 when they release Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs, they can't get rid of him this year. They already paid his roster bonus,
Right.
and they can't get rid of him because he's recovering. You can't,
And with Jerry
as
Jones,
soon as I saw them draft Ravel, I go Trey Diggs numbers.
That's why they brought in Kyrie.
His days are numbered. His days.
And with Jerry Jones being $40 million up, it's just like him being.
Look, you got to give credit where credit's due. No one is a harder critic on Jerry Jones than me. Y'all done. No one is. They actually did a good job. They really did a good job this year. Now, there's a couple of holes that I think that they still need to fill. I don't know if y'all seen this. They're still trying to make a move for George Pickens. If they get George Pickens on the other side of CeeDee Lamb, and you look at with Jaden Blue, CD, I'm telling you, man, this team and the defense, now they can send just waves after, because don't forget, they just got back Dante Fowler Jr. He had 10.5 sacks last year. You get Ezra Rocco, he had 16.5. He was second in the nation in sacks last year. So you got,
Mookie, make sure we keep this receipt on the Dallas Cowboys, because you know what he remind me. You know what Marcus remind me of. I'm sorry, this is just. I feel like some things are just comical. He remind me. Remember the ATL movie when the little boy was like, "Uncle George, I got me some cutty last night."
You get no cutty, boy.
No. Look, I'm not the delusional Cowboys fan. I'm saying, look. Everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels, and I thought Jaden Daniels had an incredible year last year. But you know who else had a good year his rookie year? A couple of years ago, CJ Stroud. How do you look last year? You got the thing about it is you got to come back every year, and you got to start all over again. I think Jaden Daniels is an outstanding quarterback, but
they got pieces though. They got pieces now.
Yep,
they got pieces.
So over under on the win total for Dallas.
9.
Gotta wait till the schedule drop. Wait till the schedule drop on the 14th to ask that question.
Well, you know who your opponents are. You just don't know. So, like the Bills, y'all play the AFC North and the
NFC South.
And the NFC
Philly
South.
And Kansas City is our two alternate.
The Eagles and Kansas City is the other team. So I mean, who does Dallas play this year? I don't know who does Dallas play this year, and I can give you a rough estimate. But they're gonna have a dogfight in their hand, because the NFC East is gonna be the NFC. The NFC East is going to be brutal. It just is. I mean, that's what it is. It's going to be.
You have the AFC West, and you have the NFC North.
Ooh, Green Bay. Ooh, Minnesota.
Oh no, Mookie. Uncle George, I got me some cutty left.
Much cutty. Ain't gonna be too much cutty going on.
You ain't get no damn cutty.
And your two other randoms
Yeah.
are the Jets and the Panthers. Everything else is AFC North or
two dubs. That's two dubs.
Still screwed.
Those are
Y'all
two dubs.
Still screwed. Matter of fact, after hearing that, I'm dropping them to 8 games. 8. Hey, Marcus.
Look, if I had to call it right now, but again, if I would have told you last year that JJ McCarthy was going to get hurt in training camp, would you believe me?
Marcus.
If I would have told you that, hang on. We talk about the NFC West. If I would have told you last year before the season started, let's keep it real here. If I would have told you at the beginning of the season last year that the San Francisco 49ers wouldn't even make the playoffs, would you believe me? You see what I'm saying? That's how. If I would not go back to the Super Bowl, If I would have told you the San Francisco 49ers, come on now, let's have a real talk here.
Oh, watch this. Let's keep it real, Marcus. You wouldn't beat them if they did or didn't go to the playoffs. You wouldn't beat them anyway.
What I'm saying is, if I would have told you at the beginning of the year that the San Francisco 49ers would not make the playoffs last year, Would you believe me? Not make the playoffs at all and come in last place in the NFC West.
And Marcus, I got a question for you.
Serious talking. If I would have asked you at the beginning, if I would have asked you at the beginning of the season, if I would have asked you at the beginning of the season last year, I would have told you at the beginning of the season last year that the San Francisco 49ers, the defending NFC champions, would come in last place in the NFC West and not make the playoffs, what would you have said?
And I wouldn't have believed you, just like I still don't believe that your Dallas Cowboys would have beat them either. I don't believe them either. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You would have beat them regardless. Oh, it don't mean nothing.
We lost Dak last year. We lost CD last year. We lost Micah for a bunch of games. We lost Trayvon Diggs for a bunch of games. Again, when you think the 49ers going to be worse this year again? You think the 49ers going to have another year like they did last year again? I think the 49ers, and I'll put this on wax right now. I think the 49ers have gotten substantially worse this year. When you look at the losses that they've had, and then you add on top of that, they got to pay Brock Purdy.
Ooh, watch this. Hold on, y'all. I like how the heads are shaking around here. Yeah, I like the heads shaking around here.
And I always ask my San Francisco 49ers fans when I do my show in the morning, oh, man, Marcus, Brock Purdy. And I ask them one simple question, and they get quiet as a church mouse. You want to pay Brock Purdy $60 million?
Marcus, I got a new question. You ready? You willing to take a bet on that coffee talk? You ready to you want to take a bet on that, Folgers?
Did we beat San Francisco? Did we beat San Francisco?
Yeah, you want to take a bet?
I would have to remind me because I'd have to see. I'd have to see because we're 4 months away from the season. But I'm just saying, San Francisco.
I'm confident right now.
San
and I'm confident right now.
You're confident San Francisco beat Dallas right now?
I'm confident that you can't beat San Francisco. And on top of that, I'm gonna tell you something else.
Hell no.
I'm confident. Watch this. I'm confident. I'm confident that you ain't gonna win more than 8 games next year. With that schedule, you ain't winning 8 games next year.
San Francisco.
With that schedule, I don't give a damn if $60 million Dak
will be lucky to be a 6-win team if they're lucky.
Say what now?
Lucky to be a 6-win team, San Francisco.
Okay, watch this. And I bet you one of them wins will come right off your boys. Wishing
doesn't have to play Dallas. They don't have to play
Dallas. They won't beat Dallas.
They don't have to play Dallas next year. They're good. You got the AFC West that you have.
Well, you know what's so funny? People told me that the Bengals wouldn't make the playoffs either. People told me I was crazy when I said the Bengals wouldn't make the playoffs either. And they've done it.
So I got a question for you, Mr. Toy.
If I would have told you that the Green Bay Packers would finish 3rd place in the NFC North at the beginning of last year, would you have believed me?
No, but I would have also told you, you know how many games Green Bay won last year?
I understand that, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you got how many games they win? 10, 11?
What's your over under for this year?
11.
They won 11 games.
11. Still.
What's your over under for this year?
11. You heard me?
You think a win?
I just said it. 11. You want to place a bet on that?
11 games, man. Here's what I think is going to happen. We talked about this a little bit, Dre.
So you think Minnesota is repeating again? You think Minnesota going to end that season again? No, absolutely not. I told y'all when y'all was riding. Hold on. How many folks was riding Minnesota's coattail last year, and I told y'all they was pretenders? Mookie, did I not go on the radio and say that Minnesota been pretenders? I told y'all that when they were doing all that winning and skull chanting. I said, watch what's about to go down.
Didn't they come in second place? Didn't they come in second place in the division?
I don't give a damn, and they lost.
Why wouldn't you give a damn? Why wouldn't you give a damn?
Because Minnesota is known. I'm gonna tell you what the answer. The answer is because Minnesota is known to be pretenders, choke artists. That pattern ain't went nowhere. I don't give a damn. 14 wins.
So is that what happens when you show up to San Francisco too? Is that what happens when you show up to San Francisco every year? You choke to San Francisco every year too, huh? Green Bay?
Oh, that's cute, William. See, you know what,
Just
William?
saying,
That's
you want to call a spade a spade?
I find that to be real cute. Talking about choking to a team coming from somebody who done lost to the same team.
Well, the quarterback sees ghosts.
4 years in the playoffs.
Hey, by the way, when was the last time Green Bay made an NFC title game?
Well,
Let
that
alone
was just a couple years ago, sir. A couple years ago. I don't care about you making. I don't care about you making AFC Championship appearances when you ain't won no Super Bowls, sir. You have 0 Super Bowls, sir. I just want to remind you once again, just in case if you forgot or your or your ticker went faint, you have 0 wins, sir, and you can't beat Kansas City. And you lost 4 times.
Your rings ain't getting you new wins,
Watch this. Marcus, hold on now. Since Mr. Funny Man over here, you should know all about the number 4. It's the same number of Super Bowls Green Bay got. It's the same. It's the number that Brett Favre wore. It's the number that Brett Favre wore. And it's the same number that the Super Bowl
Green Bay Packers have lost in Super Bowl.
4 Super Bowls you lost.
Let's stop talking about Super, because all them Super Bowls that y'all accumulated is old as hell. We can't take them away, but that shouldn't be the topic of discussion in 2025.
Old as hell.
I'm over that. Even though the Bills ain't never got.
We have a Super Bowl in the last 15 years, sir. We have a Super Bowl in the last 15 years. You can have that conversation with Marcus the Alphabets up there, who ain't went to an NFC Championship game in 30 plus years.
I find that so funny though, because here's the thing about it. Though, when people see, I didn't bring up the Super Bowl. Y'all brought up the Super Bowl, so now I got to say
I'm
something.
just asking for relevance, is what
it is. It's always relevant. If I got a master's degree 30 years ago or a doctorate degree, even if it's 25 years ago, guess what? And you're a high school dropout, and I got a doctorate degree. Guess what?
My God.
I still got a doctorate degree. You may not think much of it, but guess what? I still got a doctorate degree.
But
so
if you flip burgers with that doctorate degree, what does it matter if I'm an entrepreneur making $1 million?
So if I got my doctorate degree 25 years ago,
still got to pay for that certification though. Just because you got it, you still got to pay for certification.
Okay, so I still got my doctorate degree. It doesn't ever change. Aren't you going to school right? Why are you going to school? Why are you going? So if you get you're 40 years old and you get your bachelor's degree, guess what? You still got your bachelor's degree.
Yep.
Your man down here wouldn't know nothing about paying for certifications.
So when people be like, "Oh, it don't matter. You did this a long time ago." Okay, so why aren't you caught up then? If we ain't did something in so long, you should have like 2 or 3, right?
Marcus, don't tell them that.
I'm just saying, if you're saying you ain't did it in 30 years, well, what's longer? Never or 30 years? What's longer?
But this is my thing. When a person finds themselves losing a debate or argument,
I didn't bring up Super Bowls. He brought it up.
Go to the Super Bowl shit.
But it's relevant.
When you're losing an argument, y'all.
I didn't bring it up.
I didn't bring like you was real quick to try to bring it up.
I didn't bring it up.
Losing the debate, ain't got shit else to say. Y'all start talking about the Super Bowl shit that happened in the 90s.
I understand that. I understand that though, but doesn't it? But it's got. You can't say it does. You can't say you look.
Your last Super Bowl was on VHS tape. Nobody knows what a VHS is
what's
anymore.
Longer, VHS tapes, or Polaroids?
You can never take it away.
No, we can't take them away from you, but you can't earn any more if you ain't doing anything to get there.
And you never had one. So to say that, it's not relevant.
But guess what? Can't say that.
Because if Buffalo won a Super Bowl, if Buffalo ever stumbled upon a Super Bowl,
you can't say that to make the Dallas Cowboys nice right fucking now. You can't say because the Cowboys won Super Bowl that they're nice right now.
Your resume.
I'm tired of y'all going to that. When we talk about the Dak Prescotts and the shitty ass Cowboys now, the first thing y'all go say is some old ass blow the dust off the Super Bowl ring. That's what y'all always go do.
But it's the same difference. But it's the same difference with the New England Patriots.
But what's that got to do with now?
Because
what it got to do
have
with
something
now?
to show for it. All that you have to show for is 4 straight losses in the Super Bowl. That's all you got to show for. All this winning, and even with the winning,
Dak Prescott ever won MVP?
Marcus, you know what I'm about to say,
Has
right?
Dak Prescott ever won MVP?
So now
You know
it's
what
an
I'm about to say?
individual award.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's an individual award now.
Yep.
It's an individual award now. It's
And Dak Prescott
individual.
won MVP.
They ain't never
Why
won
did
it.
Tony Romo win one?
Marcus,
Tony
Marcus.
Romo with MVP.
Hold on, Marcus. The Buffalo Bills. Uncle George, I got me some cutting.
Yeah, I'm getting me some
Yeah,
cutting.
When you
Y'all want to
only
y'all want to
team-
talk about Super Bowl rings that happened in the 90s and shit?
Okay, but I'm saying what it did. If
Quarterback.
that's the case, do you
Let's talk
know
about
that
this
the-
MVP
do
quarterback.
you know that the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys came into existence the same year, 1960? They came into existence the same year.
The
So,
Bills was winning
we
in those
both
years.
start-
The Bills,
so-
first
so
of all,
when a
before-
team like-
the Bills was the shit in the 60s.
You
want to go there? The Bills,
the
if
AFL
the
don't
Super Bowl, listen, if the Super Bowl started in the 60s, 60,
AFL
61,
titles don't
62,
count, huh?
they have rings, bro, because they won the AFL championship
But
for
the
3
nine,
years in
but
a
the
row.
9 Browns
They was
titles
supposed
that
to
they
be in
added
Super
from
Bowl
1923 up till that start go
They were
down,
supposed
huh?
to be in Super Bowl 1, but they fucked that game up. They would have been playing the Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl 1. They lost to the Kansas City fucking Chiefs.
You always fuck it up, and you always fuck it up.
Hey,
though.
that's
what
been
I'm saying.
our-
You're saying
that's been our
that's what I'm
MO.
saying. That's like
That's been the Bills' MO since the 60s. But hey, they
But
got
yet now
they
they're
got a few of
allowing the
those-
Browns
they-
to have their 8 titles from 1923 up until 1960 and count them as NFL titles. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
they
cool
are.
with
I
that.
mean, like with Green Bay. Green Bay got what 13 championships
Yep.
altogether.
They went
13.
down with all them extra ones added from 1923
from the NFL. But people don't count that when there was just 10 teams in the league. You're not going to get really credit for that when there's 10. And then there were no black players in the league either. So you don't really get. You won the championship though? Did you really though? Like Thor said, did
All right,
you really?
look. Let's
we really know you didn't, though.
Let's cap this shit right now. If your team ain't won a Super Bowl since 2010, I don't want to hear nothing about no Super Bowl.
Well, my team has, so there you have.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. Yeah, your team.
Well, of course you don't want to hear about it because if you've never won, see, it's easy to lower things when you've never won. It's like, oh, I don't count that. Well, if you've never won, you don't get to dictate what's success. You've never won anything.
But when we're talking about the success of a team this year, y'all go back to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all team ain't successful in relevant time today. Y'all always go back to some old Super Bowl shit.
Always relevant.
Y'all always go back
Championships
to that.
are always
But y'all
relevant.
always go back
That'll
to
be
that.
his team.
You want to know
I
the
go
last
back
time
to
the
that,
Dallas
and they won
Cowboys
the
won a Super Bowl? They had a
92.
general manager.
You
Don't
can't
have
talk
one.
about Super Bowls. You don't get to talk about Super Bowls. We say the last time the Cowboys.
This is why.
See?
Yo, what is going on?
They know that's something that we ain't got, so they throw it out there, so we can't talk about
Okay,
it.
it's just like I'm not dating Haley Steinfeld. Okay, I'm not dating her. Josh Allen, whenever he gets mad and the conversation goes around, he could be like,
Do Dak Prescott got an MVP?
"I'm dating Haley Steinfeld."
Do Dak Prescott got an MVP?
No. Do the Buffalo Bills have a
Did he
world
get paid more
championship?
than Josh Allen? Criminal.
Yes, that's criminal. That is criminal. I ain't gonna hold you. That's criminal. You know that's criminal. I told you.
That
When
is.
the last time he played?
That's criminal.
But is it
When the
criminal?
last time he played?
Who's that?
When the
Well,
last time
Josh Allen makes more money than Patrick Mahomes. Is that fair?
No. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
No, hell no, it ain't fair.
why
Now,
not?
you got one MVP, I got 3, and got 3 Super Bowl rings. And
Well,
you make more
nobody
money
told
than
him to
me.
sign that crazy ass 10-year, $500 million contract.
I'm just saying.
Hold on a second, no, Marcus. See, here you go. Okay,
There's
now-
no
Josh
reason.
Allen, Josh Allen
So
could have
yes,
got
Patrick
$65
Mahomes is
million
the
if he really
quarterback.
wanted
But
to.
Marcus,
He could have been the
Marcus,
highest paid
talent-wise,
quarterback
who's
annually.
had more talent? Who's had more
Here we go.
talent?
Oh, we're back to the talent
Nah,
thing
let's
now.
stop moving the goalposts, man. At the end of the day, it's relevant
Yeah,
time.
Marcus.
Let's talk
That's what
relevant.
you.
Let's talk
I mean,
relevant time.
no. Marcus
We
is
been-
the guy who says who you play with matters, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's singing this song about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. My question is, who's had more talent in their career?
Okay, who's had more talent on their team, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? We can play this game all day long. Who has had more talent, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? Come on now, we're gonna have to. Hey, you brought it up. Has Lamar Jackson ever had a wide receiver like prime Stephon Diggs? Yes or no?
No, but I guess what?
That's 4 years.
But guess what?
No, we're talking about the record.
I never brought up Lamar. Why are you bringing Lamar in?
You brought Derrick Henry on because I'm giving you the same example. You're saying, well, look who we played with. He's playing with Willie Snead. That's the squad receiver. So, Willie Snead, and you got Stephon Diggs, who's an all-pro wide receiver.
Did Josh Allen ever get a running back like Derrick Henry on a squad?
He just got him last year. You act like he's had him his entire year. You had Stephon Diggs for how many years?
2.
Okay, Lamar Jackson has 2.
Hold on, no, Marcus. Yeah, that's funny 4, that you said that because I would still say that J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards have been better running backs.
J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, they were always hurt. They were always hurt.
Okay, so name the Bills running back before James Cook. Then go ahead, real quick, off the fly. Can you
Shady McCoy, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, and then finally James Cook.
Okay, so would you say that the Bills have better running game than Baltimore?
No.
Okay.
But I would say y'all got a better passing game, better passing.
So that's a one.
Hold on, but find a dandy coming from you. Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback anyway. So why are you worried about passing game?
Okay, but I'm saying though, if you got receivers, a lot of it. Did he run for 1,000 yards this year? No, he didn't have to because he was throwing the ball down the field. Didn't he throw? I don't know. Did he throw for more yards than Josh Allen?
As a quarterback, by far. Yes, this is Lamar Jackson's best year as a quarterback because of Derrick.
Best year.
That's what I'm saying though. It helps when people know again who you play with matters. Stephon Diggs. In his prime, those prime years that he was there, Stephon Diggs was a top wide receiver?
Nobody was better. Let's say that. Nobody was better in those 4 year span than Stephon Diggs in that 4 years.
So that's what I'm saying. So
you're saying
Patrick Mahomes you use the Patrick Mahomes has better talent. I will agree with you. Tyreek Hill and prime Kelsey, I will agree with you. But when we
had better coaching.
Yeah, and a better coaching.
And they had better talent too. There's nothing you've had like Tyreek Hill and
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce in their prime.
We're talking about gold jacket guys that are going to end up being on that Kansas City squad, plus a head coach that's a gold jacket. Oh, wait, his offensive and defensive coordinators are also gold jacket people. Spags is a gold jacket. And you see the tree that has expanded from there. See the
I agree with you as far as that, but when y'all said, well, not you per se, but when I'm debating with Bills fans, they're like, look at what Patrick Mahomes has. And then the same people will be like, Josh Allen, he's way better than Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's way better than Lamar Jackson. I think that Josh Allen has been surrounded by better talent than he has overall until last year when he got Derrick Henry.
Last year, the Bills had no business losing to the Kansas City Chiefs with what they had.
Right.
Philadelphia looked at that shit. It was like, ain't no way we losing.
And again,
they struggled. Kansas City struggled offensively every game until they played the Bills.
I'm going to put the question here. What does Kansas City look like
all season?
Okay, but I also think and see, I also thought that Kansas City, look, running back 1 injured. Wide receiver 1 out for the year. Wide receiver 2 out for 15 games. Now you take away in a more competitive division, I'll say, because Denver and the Chargers are a problem. Now you take away James Cook and I don't know who you would consider your number 1 receiver. James Cook and Kyer Elam away, and whoever and Matt Collins last year. How many games do you win?
Again,
you see what I'm saying? So when we're making these comparisons, I like to come back up so we have a real conversation. I'm just saying, like Kansas City lost one game. I don't really consider the second game a loss, because they sat everybody the last game of the season.
They would have lost that game if Mahomes would have played, though. I truly believe that if that team in Kansas City needed to have that game at home, Mahomes man to play, they still would have lost that game. It was in Denver. They shouldn't have beat them in Kansas City off the field goal.
Yeah, they lost by a random field goal.
We can say the same thing that if the New England game where Joe Milton went crazy last year, he played lights out too. Next man up. Nah, it ain't. Look, I say this all the time. There's a reason why guys are all pro. There's a reason why there's a person's an all pro, and there's a reason why a guy is a practice squad player. With that being said, we've been on the air for 2.5 hours. Thank you for watching Monday Night Madness. We always be cutting up. My man Mookie Hawkins, William off the Richter scale, and my guy Andre the Torch Robinson. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. Alphabet's football show, Coffee Talk tomorrow. We'll pick up some of this stuff that we missed because we really got carried away, and we'll just carry it over. Dre be talking too much. That's what happened. Dre be talking too much, so we'll pick it up.
I want to hear that. Dre be talking too much. Dre, how be talking on that?
Always fight.
Dre be talking too much. Yeah, I be getting
talking too much. I'm gonna go watch the rest of these playoffs. Man, y'all have a great night. Thank you for showing love and support. Thank you for everybody who wished me a happy birthday yesterday. Make sure y'all show my guy Mookie Hawkins. You know, he be doing a lot of stuff. Dre will be back on Thursday. Rise Up Family, a radio show brought to you by WDAP Radio. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Man, say that shit right if you're going to say it. It's Rise Up Unlimited Radio Show.
Rise Up Unlimited Radio Show. Dre will be back up there talking up and have another 3-hour show because he be talking too much. But make sure y'all tune into that. Show love to everybody. Much love to everybody. Thank you for all the love and support, man. We laugh and we joke, man, but we appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate everybody who comes through, everybody who participates in the show. Make sure y'all sign up for the Alphabets Football Show Facebook page. Go up in there. Got a lot of knowledgeable people up there. You can find Mookie up there. Make sure y'all follow him. Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Everybody have a good night. We're out of here. See ya.
Marcus, you old enough to drink now.
Uncle George? Uncle George? Uncle George, I got some cutty last night. You ain't get no damn cutty. You get no damn cutty. Yo.